What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Where the Locals Skate. I'm your host once again, OG Skate Show. This is a podcast where we get to know local skaters on and off the board. And today, our couch boy is David Peralta.
What up?
And now let's introduce our guest this week. We have Brian Wood in the studio. Dude, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Dude, I really appreciate that. Let us know what city you're repping.
I'm from Long Beach, California.
From Long Beach?
Yeah.
Is that where you grew up as well?
Yeah, born and raised in Long Beach. Yeah, I've lived a bunch of places, but yeah.
Sick.
What was your favorite place to live out of everywhere you lived?
Oh, man, Costa Rica.
Costa Rica?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
How long were you out there for?
A year. I got family that lives there.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I got cousins and everything out there.
That's cool.
Okay. But you grew up in Long Beach.
I grew up in Long Beach, yeah.
Okay. And how did you start skating?
Okay, my mom skated in the 60s.
Oh, rad.
So let's go ahead. We'll just start out. We'll just take it all the way there.
Okay.
So my mom had like an old Alva board I used to ride when I was a kid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle skated, and they had like one of my uncles was a full surfer, and they had an empty pool like in the valley. So I remember going to their house, and they had the pool with the diving board going down into the pool, and I'm just like, no, this is insane, you know. This kid just riding my board around on the bottom of the pool and stuff, and
that's right.
I was like 7 years old. Okay, so Russ Howell, a lot of people say he's like the modern skateboard, like he was the first pro.
Mm-hmm.
He came to my school when I was like 7 years old. He did this skate safety program in Long Beach, where he went to all the schools and brought skateboards and taught you how to fall, like taught us how to roll and stuff like that. And I was already skating, so I'm like, let me see those boards. Like, I'm on it, you know?
Yeah.
And then he became my teacher again in 8th grade. He was my gymnast teacher. By that time, I was full-on skater, you know? But, and skating and surfing were like the same thing at that time.
Right.
But then it kind of broke away to skating being its own thing.
Okay.
But, yeah, so my uncle skated, my mom skated, and she was like, you know, she was funny because you see the Mongo and stuff, and she's like, I'll show you the right way to push. And I'm like, dude, she was telling me that in the 70s.
Wow.
Like, you know, so it's like...
So they were on it back then.
They were on it back then. And she'd always brag that she could carry her brother in one arm and a bag of groceries in the other arm, go to the store and
That's
skate
amazing.
back with them, you know, so I...
And the small boards too, not the big,
tiny
the
clay
elbow.
wheels, all that, you know. So I like in the 70s they had the skate parks, and my mom took me to a few parks, like the one at Lakewood Mall, which was like the Long Beach Park, and then there was another one that was like in North Long Beach. So I got to skate a couple parks, and then one park was like turned into a baseball batting cage where you like hit the ball. And like the bank is like where the balls roll down.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh man, that used to be a skate park, you know.
Damn,
But,
yeah.
I was too young to really skate the skate parks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I got older, I got into surfing, and it's like I'd start going surfing, and then it was like, oh, I want to skate, I want to surf, so you can't go to the beach all the time, so I just start skating and stuff.
You weren't too close to the beach?
Well, I was.
You were?
But Long Beach doesn't have very much waves, so you have to like go across to Seal Beach.
Ah.
But then, or I'd take the bus down to Huntington Beach.
Right. Okay.
And one time I'm on the bus back from Huntington Beach, and I meet Mark Gonzalez. And I'm like coming back with my surfboard. I've got like a little ramp, kind of like your ramp in my garage.
Okay.
And they're talking about talking about his eggplants. They're talking about his acid drops and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, you're a pro skater? He's like, I'm like, you guys are skaters? And he's like, yeah, I just signed this deal with Vision to be pro today.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, I'm just coming back from Vision. And he's like, I'm going to be pro. I'm like, oh, you're going to be like Christian Soy and Chris Miller? And he's like, yeah, but I'm going to be a street pro. And I started laughing because I'm like, dude, you're messing with me. Like, there's no such thing as a street pro. And he got all serious. He's like, no, man, no, it's going to be big, man. Check it out. You should check it out. They're doing these things where they're setting up these contests in parking lots. And Thrasher had this big expo on, like, people are jumping off of like, a ladder. They're jumping on like, a desk, you know. They just put a bunch of stuff in a parking lot. And because they're trying, like, Vert is dying, skateboarding is dying, and they're trying to revive it.
Right.
So they're just like, well, we'll meet the skaters where they're at, where it all started, on the streets. You know? And when he told me that, I'm like, oh, yeah. And then, like a kid, I'm like, well, if you're really sponsored, you got any stickers?
Yeah.
And he pulls out a sheet. He's like, yeah, but I got no way to cut them. And he has this giant sheet of vision stickers. And it's like, vision.
What? Yeah,
You know?
they just gave him a whole roll of here you
Yeah,
go.
just gave like, here, cut it yourself. You know, and he had all these, but it's just like, yeah, check that out. And like,
That's
it's
right.
funny because like later on we end up becoming friends. I end up skating with him a lot.
Okay.
Like, when I'm older and stuff. And it's just like, hey, remember I met you on the bus? Like, I don't remember, but I remember you telling me the story.
Yeah.
And like,
That is wild, dude. But that's crazy. You met him the day he turned pro on
yeah,
Vision.
like, yeah. And then it's just kind of like, you know, we used to make little quarter pipes and stuff, and we'd, you know, I'd see random things. Like, when I was a kid, we went to Magic Mountain, right?
Uh-huh.
We're cruising up to Magic Mountain, and the Pepsi team is like driving next to us, and they've got the giant plexiglass ramp.
Right. I
Yeah.
remember that.
And it's like on the back of the trailer, and the team is like in the car.
That's
and we're just like, whoa, that's, you know, like, check that out, like the skateboard, like, you know, so it's like all around us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's growing. Like, we're riding the old school boards, like with clay wheels and stuff, you know?
That is
And,
crazy.
It just kind of grew, and it's, you know.
I remember that Pepsi because they even went to Knott's one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were doing, and that thing looks so wild because it's clear, right? And then it's like,
Plexiglass,
yeah,
yeah.
and then like didn't really look like it had a top, like maybe on one
No
side.
no top.
Yeah.
They're like going from the bottom,
Man, that
getting
was
up and
wild.
doing
Oh,
edges on the top and stuff.
But they also had like rollerblader. They had like a bike and then
Roller skater.
Roller skater. Okay,
Roller
yeah,
skater.
it wasn't even rollerblades yet.
This one guy, Jimmy Scott, he was a roller skater. His mom roller skated,
Mm-hmm.
and he skated, but he skated with his feet.
Yeah, I was gonna
this
say,
way,
didn't he have his feet
you know?
like that?
And
yeah.
he would do like 540s back to back. And he's like the first one to do a 900, and you know. And then he started skating when street skating came. So we started skating together a lot.
Wasn't he the one that inspired McGill to do the McTwist?
Oh, completely. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was already doing 540s, but he would, on the vert ramp, he'd do like, you know, there's only a couple people who can do 540s on a skateboard at that time.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing like 10 of them back to back, like grabbing every which way he can do, you know? And it's just like
And the wild part is the way he skates with his feet like that. You know what I mean?
And Castle had a roller skate division along with the skateboarding division, you know? So he was the only one, like there was a couple others, but he was far ahead of everybody else. So he had to go to skateboarding. And then when snowboarding started, he became a pro snowboarder.
Oh wow! He's just like, okay, I'm bored with this. On to the next,
He went straight through all the fucking extreme sports careers.
dude.
Yeah,
seriously.
completely. I mean, the snowboarding thing, when it came, everyone like went wild on that.
Yeah, what's his name too? The Flying Tomato. What was his name?
Flying tomato.
Yeah, the redhead, the kid. He skates and he.
Oh, Sean White?
yeah,
Shaun
Sean White. Yeah,
I was like, I didn't know they called him the flying tomato.
Flying Tomato.
Yeah, the first time I went snowboarding, like my friend gave me an old snowboard. It had like a pointed nose and a V-tail, and I was like riding down there. I was like, well, I'm not getting busted. I don't got cops coming after me. Like, because every time we were skating back then, it was like we had to be looking
Oh,
over our
no.
shoulder for cops and stuff. And it was like, whoa, I'm just skating. Like, this is how we could have it, you know?
Uh-huh.
And this girl that was a pro snowboarder, like years later, she's like, I remember seeing you ripping down the mountain. I'm just like, how are you ripping on this old board? I'm like, that was my first time doing it. I just was a skater, so I was already used to riding
Yeah.
on boards.
and you surf too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, snowboarding, it came a little easy for me. It wasn't easy the first day. You know, it was a real.
You take all those slams and stuff.
You gotta
like,
take the slams. You gotta learn how to not get the edges caught and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And my main goal was the first day. I gotta learn to stop.
right.
I'm not trying to hit no tree or fall off the edge of no cliff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though, because I don't know how it's gonna look when I get there. I'm just worried.
Well, you remember my first day? You went with
I
me?
was so like, I'm like, come on, it's easy. And then he's like, I can't do it. I'm like, dude, well, yeah, I remember my first day too, but dude, the guy that I went with, he left me up on the top of like a big hill, right? And he left me, and he's like, figure out yourself. And I had to like do like the feather all the way down.
Yeah, I had a friend that's like, oh, if it's snowing, I don't got no friends. Like, I'll help you out here, but once I'm I'm doing my thing. I was like, okay, well, I'll figure this out. But
Yeah.
once I went to the bigger mountain and really rode down the powder, I was like, oh, this is way better
It's
than
easier.
the harder
The
ice at the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just started skating way more than surfing, and I built like a ramp inside my garage, you know, like, and it totally went to vert, and it was like you had to tuck over, like when you were dropping in, because we're like
Almost at the roof.
yeah, it's like, you know, it's like that, like, but with to see how high your ramp is, but going to vert, because we're trying to do hand plants and airs and stuff like that, and then I would get to go to Upland. Remember Upland had the skate parks out there, and I remember one time I ditched school to go there, and it's like, oh, it's not open till 3.
Oh, wow.
Like, so me and my friend are like, well, let's go find Baldy Pipe. So we go to Baldy, and
Heck yeah. That's the one where you have to jump the gap to get, or have like a plank of wood to get across.
yeah, completely. And we're like walking, and there's the ranger, because we're like on federal land, you know.
Ooh.
So I'm like, oh shoot. We duck down, and we're like on our elbows and knees crawling around bushes, like from bush to bush, and we make it around the ranger, and then we get into the pipe. We're skating the full pipe, and we're skating it for a minute, and then the ranger comes up
Oh, you can probably
and
hear
kicks us out anyway. So it's like,
but at least you got in there.
we got in there, yeah. It was
Army
rad.
crawl in there.
Well, I skated multiple times after that, but that first time was just, you know, that searching, that epic like
Dude,
adventure,
seriously.
like going and finding something to skate, and you saw it in the magazine, and now you're getting to skate it.
That's
And then,
everything right there.
Yeah, then came back to Upland. We just skated the parking lot until the place opened.
Dude, I totally know that feeling of searching, because I remember my first time going to Baldy was like a whole experience, because I had this older neighbor from the 80s, and he saw me that I always skate. He'd always, you got to go to Baldy, you got to check out the Nude Bowl. And my first time going to any of those, it's just like an adventure, like, damn, this is where it's at.
Yeah.
And then you get there and you're like, damn, all the legends have been here and done things there.
There's energy.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
And you pick it up right away. You're like, whoa.
Yeah,
This is
definitely.
there. I don't know, when I was like, you know, I'm surfing and stuff, and I'm still young, but I'm like really taking to skating, you know. And these older guys, like, they take me to skate Flower Street. I don't even remember Flower Street. It was like on the 5 in Santa Ana.
Okay.
But these ditches like kind of met, so there was like a hip, and it was all sick. But they're all older, and they're like smoking out in the car, and I'm totally getting contact high. So we're like in a, you know, pickup truck, and I have the best session. Like, and I'm just like 14 years old or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like doing bonelesses and just having the best session. And it's like years later, I'm like, oh, that's why weed and skateboarding go together, you know. But it's like,
yeah.
you know, it's like after I met Gons, like I started really like going and skating. But my parents took me to Europe, you know.
Oh wow.
We went to Europe for a summer, and that's when Back to the Future came out, you know.
Yes.
And it's like I already knew who Perry Willender was. I already knew these people, you know. And you know, I'm trying.
Was that the guy who played the stunt double for him? Or
He was
something?
one of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did like the 360s and stuff like
Okay.
that. But he was a freestyler / like, because some people went into street skating from being vert skaters, but there were some skaters that went into street skating from being freestylers,
Right.
like Steve Rocco, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
So Perry Willender was one of those freestyle to street skater guys, you know, and I'm going around, but I'm, you know, the whole time I'm trying to skate ramps. I'm trying to skate skate parks. I had a Transworld magazine that had a list of all the skate parks in the world.
Okay.
Like they had a list at the end of it. So I'm going through the magazine like, okay, I'm going to this city. I'm going to go here. And I meet this freestyle dude, and he's like, oh, come to this plaza tomorrow. Like it's going to be the weekend. And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, I go, I don't have a freestyle board. He's like, well, all these guys are coming with the big 10-inch boards like you know, like the vert boards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, come. And it's like, basically this plaza skating was like the birth of street skating, you know? Like, oh,
This
come
was in
and
Europe?
skate. Yeah, in Europe. And I'm just like, so I'm going to all these cities, I'm skating all these things and like trying to ollie up on the curb, like Rodney Mullen had a thing where he's olling over the board on the freestyle board.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, ollies. Like, and this one guy ollied up and did a front side pivot on this high curb. And I'm just like, no way. Like, I'm
That's
hooked,
amazing.
you know?
Yeah.
A year later, I'm olling up picnic tables. You know, it's
Dude,
like...
that's amazing. You've been skating on the boards for a while already, and then you go to this one spot, and then you just see, like, I didn't have to go this far to a skate park.
Right.
We got curbs right outside the door.
Right. I mean, we're already just skating around, but we're like, you know, we're trying to imitate what we're trying to make quarter pipes that go to vert so we can do airs. We want to do airs and hand plants.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm sure the quarter pipes were invented because they're trying to mimic a wave, right?
Well, if you go, like, you got to go, like, look at the progression of it. People are skating banks and ditches, and they find backyard pools.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're skating vert. Now they make skate parks. They're making perfect bowls.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden the lawyers say, no. You know, like, once someone gets sued,
they all shut it down.
The lawyer's like, oh, we can sue all these skate parks.
Mm.
And so now the skate parks all go out of business. But skateboarding was blowing up. Well, how do we save the bowl skating? We'll make vert ramps. Like, vert ramps is a way to save skateboarding. But how many people have vert ramps?
Right. Yeah.
You know? So it's like the vert ramp was like making the ramp yourself and not making a big skate park out of cement or having an empty pool, having a house with a pool. Like, and there was that drought that was going on in the 70s, which also made it so that all the pools were empty. Like, people were like, hey, you have to drain your pool, you know?
Right.
So all these pools are empty. Now, you know, water's coming back and stuff like that. So they're saving skateboarding by having the vert ramp, but that's still too few people. And it's like the industry is just dying. It's like, we're going to have to save skateboarding. We have to develop street skating, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, we're all wanting to skate vert ramps, but we can't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're like, you know, I mean,
unless you got some money or you got room, space, all that stuff.
I mean, like Christian Sk8 and Tony Hawk, they're 2 years older than me. But they're skating vert ramps, they're skating the skate parks because they have their parents involved.
Right.
You know, most of us, our parents didn't care. Mm-hmm. You know, most of our parents didn't want to skateboard, you know? Mm-hmm. And then when street skating came and it's like the police are busting us, now our parents really didn't want us skating, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I was like, I think I got arrested the first time just skating down the street.
Wow.
And like 14, 15 and something. And me and my friend are like sitting in the cell and our parents come bail us out and they're just like, God, you gotta get
crazy.
the skateboarding stuff, you know?
I mean, what was the, like, just for being on the sidewalk?
Just skating down the sidewalk.
You know, like, or like, because, I mean, what was the ticket for? Like, oh, you guys jaywalked, or, you know, did you guys no helmet?
No, because he,
you know what I mean?
No, he yelled at us and we just kept skating.
Ah.
And so it was like, oh, you're evading police. So,
yeah.
But we were like too much in our thing to really pay attention.
You're on the move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I come back from Europe and it's like, you know, I was kind of like, I left a surfer who skated. And I came back, and my friends were all like, they had all gotten way into surfing, and I had gotten way into skating, you know? Mm-hmm. And it was like, I came back a full-on skater, and then I had that ramp in my garage. Now it's like, I want to go surfing, but these people, all the whole neighborhood's showing up wanting to skate my ramp, you know? So it's like, all of a sudden, I've got a skate park in my garage, you know? And
yeah, your spot was a place to be then.
It was, yeah, exactly. If you had a ramp, you were the community. You were holding it down for your community.
I wish I would have had this little mini ramp back in the day, but there's no, like you said, like back in the day, my grandma's would have been like, nah, I ain't getting sued. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but there was a guy when I was a little kid, like in the 80s, there was a guy up the street that had a half pipe. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was humongous because I was so little, so I don't really know how big it was. But I remember I wanted to skate it, and they were going to let me. But then their mom came out and was like, hey, you have to go have your parents sign this paper. And then my mom read it, and she was like, I ain't signing this. You know, I ain't going to let you break your neck. So I was like, no, never got to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just imagine what could have been.
Right.
Because little kids, we were so fearless, you know?
Yeah.
Skate show doing hand plants?
Yeah. That's the whole thing. It's like, if I could have skated those skate parks more when I was a kid, like, they were only there for a few years. Mm-hmm. But I was seeing them. And if I could have skated them more, I mean, there was ads on TV for the freeformer skateboards.
Right.
And stuff. Skateboarding was blowing up. Like there was, Pepsi was involved and, all that. But it just, you have to develop it, and you develop on your own. It's like your own passion,
Okay.
And
what were the skate shops back then? Where were you getting your stuff?
Oh, dude, okay. Now I'm going to tell you the story. So I probably should have brought it, but basically I'm 13, 14 years old, and I want to buy my own skateboard, I had my mom's board. My mom's board got stolen, the El Alba board. It got stolen because I went to the movie theater. You can't bring a skateboard in here. So I stashed it in the bushes, came out of the movie, and it's gone,
Damn.
So I'm like, okay, I need my own skateboard. So I start going down to like the docks. I'm like, hey, I'll scrape barnacles from your boat. I'll do whatever to get money,
money, yeah.
So I get some people like agree, like paint my boat, do this, do random jobs, yard work, whatever, and I get the money up to buy a skateboard, and it's from a water ski place.
Okay.
That has skateboards, you know, and I buy it's a sure grip board. Like complete.
Is this like an actual physical store you're going into, or
yeah?
Okay.
Like it's a water ski shop that has a skateboard
section in the back. This
section is the skateboard,
right?
And I buy a sure grip board, and sure grip was from like, it was like I don't know, like Santa Fe Springs or something, or Long Beach. So it was somewhere close by there. So it was a local board company. And then Sure Grip was a roller skate company, and they still make roller skates.
Oh wow.
But they were making skateboards for that time. So I got a whole complete Sure Grip board. I buy this board, I skate it, to skate it out. My dad comes back from Paramount Skate Park, which isn't a skate park anymore, but it has a skate shop still, and the skate park is there, but it's just completely closed. We went and walked around, and it's just like, the cracks, like weeds growing through it. But here's this amazing skate park that we can't skate, and it's like, but the skate shop is still like, they do like mail orders. They've got an ad in Thrasher, like people in the Midwest can
get some boards
from them. But my dad gets me a blank board, just a square blank with a kicktail and concave. And I take an Alba board, and I cut it out.
You shape it?
Yeah, I totally take the fishtail Alba board, cut it out. And this is funny because when I meet Mark Gonzalez, he's like, yeah, I designed the fishtail board. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I had this ad with Tony Alba where he's like just doing art, And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that ad too. And it's like, now I'm riding this board. I take it all over Europe. I come back, now I'm trying to ollie up. I learned to drop in Europe. I went to this Nicky Guerrero's ramp. It was like a big, 12, 13-foot ramp, which was huge back then.
For sure.
And the crazy thing about it was in this giant tent, because it rains every day there, It's like way North Europe, like Holland or something like that. And it has solid 2x4s, like no gaps between the 2x4s, the whole ramp down. It was like the most solid thing I skated that wasn't concrete,
2x4s?
Yeah, it was like, how you have 2x4 and you have one over here, one over here, one over here. This was like every single one all the way down.
Wow.
It was almost like a solid wall, right?
Yeah, it was like a solid wall, and then with plywood on top of it. And I'm sitting there at the top, and I'm just like, dude, I want to drop in on this. I'm just pumping to get up to the top forever. All exhausted by the time. And I'm like, I want to just drop in. I'm like looking at it. And this other dude is just being patient. Like it's me and him skating it. This other bird skater. And he's got magnesium trucks. They're super light. I'm like, dude, the Europeans are crazy, And I'm like, I'm just looking at it. And finally he just looks at me. He's just all, it's so easy. He stands next to me. He's like, just so easy. Just do it. And he drops in. So I watch him drop in. And I'm like, all right, I'm doing this, And I drop in on the vert. And all of a sudden, I'm up at the top of the other wall. And I'm at the top of this. I'm like, dude, I did all that pumping. I could have just dropped in and been there. After that, I was dropping in on every place I went, But most of the time I was just skating all these plazas, skating the streets everywhere that I was going in Europe. And this one ramp, the guy is olling up on the curb, and I'm like, dude, I want to do that, And so I come back and everybody's surfing, and I'm just fully into skating. And I start oiling up curves. I start oiling up things. Start oiling up bus benches. We had those plexiglass bus benches back in the day.
Yeah.
And they were like perfect for doing board slides and
Yeah.
stuff. And then I could ollie up picnic tables. And then Johnny Kopp gets an ad in the magazine where he's doing a board slide on a rail. And it was supposed to be, or a picture. Yeah, I think it was a TNC ad. And then like Gons wanted to have the first photo doing a rail, you know, but Johnny Kopp got the picture, and Gons was pissed about it. I found out later, you know, and I see that picture and I'm like, I can do that, you know. And so that day I go and do a handrail.
Wow.
So it's like not anyone's like really done handrails yet. And so I saw that picture and it was just like, once you see something and it's in your mind, like Jeremy
It's
Ray,
possible,
right?
yeah.
You just like, I can do this, you know? But
how old were you at that time when you did the handrail?
15.
15? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right at that age where you're just going for it.
Just start hugging.
Yeah, you're starting to grow, you know. I'm already oiling up picnic tables, boards with no nose. Oh, and I was also already sponsored by this time.
Okay.
Okay, so basically I had that board. My dad brought me that other board.
You shaped it.
I shaped it. I came back from Europe, and I was going to Huntington Beach and skating now. Like before, I'm going to Huntington Beach to surf. Now I'm taking the bus to Huntington Beach to skate.
Did it have that Huntington Park, the skate
No,
park?
just skating under the pier, and there was a bank there. Like, so we're just skating the wall rides and stuff, and I like had all these wall rides. I'm ollieing like over like 3-4 boards.
Okay.
And the vision team shows up. So I'm like, you know, they're doing basic wall rides. I'm doing alley-oop wall rides, frontside wall rides. I'm alling over 4 boards. They're alling over 3. You know, so the guy's like, I'm putting you on the team. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I give him my information. I come home from school that week, and there's just this box on my doorstep. It's got boards in it. It's got Vision streetwear clothes. It's got Vision streetwear shoes, wheels, Vision blurs. Like, it's a full package. Like, it's just hooked up, you know?
That's amazing.
And I'm just like, dope. And I go to school the next day, and I give everybody Vision stickers. And by the end of the day, the school is just, there's Vision stickers everywhere, under stairways. Like, everyone's just stuck those things everywhere.
Dad, you're the perfect promoter for a brand, man. They're like, yeah, the whole school knows about it now.
Exactly.
That's
And then
cool.
I get home that day, and there's the package again. Like, they sent the same package twice.
Wow.
And then he wants me to go skate that contest at Oceanside where Nodis tries the rail the first time. So I'm gonna go skate this contest, and my dad doesn't let me. So he's like, no, you're not going to a contest. Like,
What?
You're gonna hang out with the family and stuff. So I'm all bummed about it. And then afterwards, he's like, well, why are you still bummed? Like, you can't go. And I'm like, well, because they wanted me to skate. And he's like, what do you mean you got company behind you? I'm like, yeah, well, that's being sponsored and this, you know. And he's just,
like,
after that, he kind of let me do whatever I wanted.
You're like, it's kind of a job.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
I never talked to Vision again. But then I ended up going to another contest, and I got sponsored by Alva.
Oh.
So here I am, like, you know.
But they didn't see the package when it came to the door, wondering, like, where did this come from?
No, they're just kind of like, whatever. Oh, you got some skateboards, whatever, you know.
I mean,
So, you know, and I'm getting home before my parents are home from work. So it's
that's
like,
true. You're probably clearing it out.
I
Yeah.
just sit to my room, and I'm riding boards. And
That's
then, like,
right.
But I'm just, you know, I'm like, it just skating it was underground. Like, I remember I told you I got arrested for skating.
Yeah.
So they're already looking at, oh, why are you wasting your time?
Right. Yeah, they didn't see a future in it at the time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of parents felt like that in the beginning of skateboarding till like it got to the point where it's at now.
Yeah.
Because even my parents, I remember they would tell me, I would be like, I want to be a pro skater, and they'd be like, only 1 in a million. Like, trying to ruin my hopes and dreams of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, but you could be that 1 in a million. You know?
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, I felt like, I was decent, but I don't know. But if I had been thrown into the right situations and gone to the right spots, I might have been pretty good, you know? I don't know about pro good, but I think I could have gotten a lot better. But at the time, you know, but we didn't do that. Like, we didn't travel. We didn't take the bus. Like, we didn't take that initiative to, like, make it to the spots like you did. Like, you were, like, you're like, I gotta find this Mount Baldy.
Well, I mean, I took like 4 buses to go skate Sadlands, you know?
Okay.
Like a bus here, a bus here, a bus here. Went and skated Sadlands. I'm just like, rad, I'm skating the spot. It's like a quarter pipe. It's just like, it's a quarter pipe, but it's like a bunch of people are hanging out. They got the keg in the trash cans. Like, and it's
but
just,
still,
it's the raddest thing, you know?
Yeah.
Electric guitars blasting these huge airs. And, you know, it's like, oh, this is dope, you know? And just like, I got hooked right away, you know?
For sure.
Like, got all the Thrasher mags in my bedroom and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Drawing like pictures of skating, just like mixing it all together.
And you said you went to Tony Alva's team after Vision?
So I got on Alva's team because Dave Duncan was the judge, right?
Yeah, for the contest.
I'm skating the contest, and I get back, like, I had this girl lay in the course, and I ollied over her, you know, like, I did wall rides. I did like these hand plant wall rides where I'd do like ollie out into ho-ho and come back on the wall. And like I did all this stuff, like ollied up on this big thing they had, and like I finished the contest, you know, as I'm skating back from my run, and Duncan's like, "Yeah, ripping style, Holmes." And I'm like, "Oh shoot, the judge is telling me I'm ripping." I'm like, "Oh, that's good," you know. So and then I get sponsored by Skate Racks.
Okay.
Do you remember Skate Rags? You ever heard of that?
Skate Rags?
Skate Rags.
Is it clothing?
First skate clothing brand.
Okay.
Joe Bowers. He ends up, after Skate Rags, he ends up starting Alien Workshop.
Ooh.
Oh, right.
So this is the origins of Alien Workshop. So he was in San Diego. He goes back to Ohio because he was originally from Ohio. But he sponsors me, and he's like, "Yo, Duncan was checking you out pretty hard. We think you should talk to Duncan and get sponsored by Alva."
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, cool, you know?
Yeah.
And I talked to him, and I get sponsored by him. So I bought that one skateboard. My dad brings me another board. I get sponsored. Every board I've ever had, then every board my son's had. I've never bought another skateboard. I bought one skateboard. I've had thousands of skateboards from that one skateboard.
That's so amazing.
That's badass right there.
It's like the best investment ever.
Oh my God.
Like one skateboard has bought me like a million skateboards, trucks, wheels, clothes, all these things I've gotten from buying that one skateboard.
That's amazing.
And it's like, it's crazy because I was at South Bay Skates. He had like a whole museum in his shop. I saw that board that I originally bought, like a brand new one, not scratched at all. Like I went to go take a leak in his bathroom, and there it was sitting in the bathroom. And I pulled it out. I was like, no way.
It was in the bathroom?
Yeah, I was just like, you know, he's got boards everywhere. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yo, James, like, I'm not giving you this back. Like, this is going with me, you know? And he's like, oh, well, let's see. Give me $200. I'm like, dude, I got $200. I'm like, but I'll give you a bunch of boards, you know? So I pick out like 7 boards. I'm like, here, I got these decks, like Baker, Element. I've got a bunch of random boards. I'm like, here, I got these boards. Which ones do you want? And he's like, I'll take all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, all of them? But I'm like, you know what? That's my first board.
Right.
Like, I'll give you all of them. Okay. And I got the board, and now his shop's closed. So, you know, I was glad I got that opportunity to get it, you know?
That's amazing.
And then my other thing was I was still riding those Sure Grip wheels, right? Or those Sure Grip trucks. And then Vision gave me those blurs. And then once I got an Alva, I had the Alva Rocks.
Okay.
But I skate this contest, and I'm like, I jump off the roof in the contest. And
no one's doing that.
Oh, and I'm doing the wall right finger flip. And I'm like, I end up winning the contest, and first prize was a board, and second prize was a pair of trucks.
Okay.
And they gave me first prize, and they're like, hold on, give him second prize. He needs the trucks, because I broke the trucks in the contest, you know? And so they give me second place, but I had really won the contest.
Yeah.
But now
they just trade prizes, you know? That's what I'm saying. You're still first. We're just, I would say, which one do you want? You want the board or the truck?
Right. Well, now, back then it was like, you know,
you had to take second.
So I ended up getting some venture trucks, you know?
Ooh, okay.
And then after that, I ended up getting on Indy. because I'm like, we go to a contest. One of the pool guys from Alva tells the Rick Blackheart, the team manager, Indy, oh, this guy Skip, he's like Alva skater, skate street, he rips. And I'm like, yeah, could I be on the team? He's like, yeah, like, yeah, you're on it, So it was like, it was cool because he's like, yeah, Rick Blackheart wants to take us to dinner. And there I met him, and it was just like, oh, I'm on Indy, and I skated Indies until
wow,
for like 20 years or something.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like I was at this point like I'm doing that rail,
Yeah.
and I'm skating for Alva, but Alva is a pool skating team,
Mm-hmm.
and street skating was cool, but it was still about the vert skating at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you think about it, it's like I'm one of the first people to do a rail, but like now a company would be all over that, but they were like, yeah, that's cool, but we want to skate pools. So I'm like, okay, I'm not very good at ramps. I can drop in, I can do some stuff, but I don't really have access to ramps. So I never was like a full-on vert skater.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, well, you know what? There's empty pools all around. You just got to find the empty houses. You got to find the abandoned houses. So we start going everywhere, finding pools. And I'm already doing wall rides and stuff.
So you found pools easier than vert, or like you just didn't have access to vert?
Yeah, I could find pools more than I could find a vert ramp. Because I had to go to San Diego or something.
Right.
And like, or there was another ramp in San Luis Obispo. I remember we went to stay at this guy's house for a week, and we just skated his vert ramp for a week in the middle of the forest in San Luis Obispo.
Is it like kind of how like they have that new ramp area at that one farm out there towards like Santa Barbara?
Right. Like that's a continuing, like that's part of that whole story. Like that's a continuing like saga of that.
Yeah, because I remember going there. I'm like, this is like going on to like the
jungle.
like the rainforest or the jungle.
Yeah, completely.
And you're just like on complete and total peace out there skating.
Yeah, we're just in the middle of the woods skating this ramp, and a couple of vert skaters, one dude from Texas, and my friend, and it's like we're just there skating this vert ramp, just working on our vert skating. I could do some stuff, airs, hand plants, board slides. I had some tricks, but I wasn't a full-on vert skater like that.
Right.
But I started skating the pools, and like I'm already doing wall rides, right? So now I'm skating the shallow end too. So I'm like, because people just go in, skate the deep end, and come back. They'd skate like a quarter pipe, And now it's like, oh, we come here, and I'm skating the shallow end and going back to the deep end. So like everybody's standing in the shallow end. And I'm coming, and I'm carving through the shallow end. I'm knocking everybody over.
Yeah.
So they started getting known. He's in the pool. Everybody out of the pool. So I started getting known for skating the shallow ends. And I'm like,
oh, he's going to skate the whole pool.
Yeah, I'm going to skate the whole pool. And that was like an underground revolution to pool skating, because it changed pool skating from just skating the deep end.
Well,
now the whole pool's being skated.
I figured, like, as a kid, right? I remember doing the pool, and you're like, let's try to make it over the light. Let's see, you know what I mean? That's like the first goal.
Over the light.
You know what I mean? You gotta start going over the light, and then next thing you know, like let's see if I can touch the tiles.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're getting on the coping. You're like, what? No, I never got that far, but yeah.
And then you're grinding over the death box.
I gave up after tiles, because that shit. I was always scared of how much like pool coping stuck out.
Yes. It would just grab you, and that's why you had to like just throw yourself at it,
Yeah.
And it's like, even now, like I do slappies on. I look at curbs. I'm like, if I do a slappy, I need a curb that's not painted, that's super rough, it's not waxed. Like I do slappies on unwaxed, unpainted, because that's how I did them back then.
That's
like you have to really just throw it, and that's in the pool. You're just throwing it up there.
That's like the era before wax, when they'd be like, well, if you want to grind through it, go faster.
I never wax anything until I'm waxing something for my son now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I never used wax,
Even for board slides, right?
No, I just skated as fast as I could, and I just try to go, and then it stick, and I just slam, but I just push it until basically the other kids are waxing, so I'm kind of using that residual wax,
Right.
But I'd always be like, hey, man, just go faster.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's kind of how it was. But so I'm just pushing myself in pool skating, and on top of it, I'm finding pools.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like having this thing where it's like, okay, now I'm getting my sponsors to recognize me because I'm bringing them to pools. They want to skate pools. Duncan wants to skate pools. We're bringing Salba. We're bringing Tony Alba. Bringing all these other guys to all these pools.
And there's somebody there taking photos as well. And and documenting.
Oh yeah. We had definitely it's okay. So
was this around the same time like Bones Brigade and all that? They were
completely
completely because that's what I remember when this street.
This is 80s skating.
Yeah,
like my amateur days was being an 80s skater. You know, like the early first generation of street skaters, and then most of the street skaters they're bull skaters. They were like vert skaters that just couldn't skate vert.
Right.
And then we were just kind of just really like pushing it, and street skating is going, and pool skating is having this like renaissance, and it's underground, but there's all this stuff going on. Like I go to Arizona, and there's a whole neighborhood tore out because they're building a freeway that's there now, and they took this whole neighborhood out, and it's like 30 pools. Empty pools. Like my friend out there, he said he skated 30 in one day.
Wow.
I was like, no way. But they're all like, you could just go
pool to pool.
Yeah, but it's like the whole neighborhood's empty. You could just go from house to house.
They just left all the pools.
Yeah.
Were the houses demolished and they left the pools, or the houses were all still there? Okay.
So people are squatting in the houses and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And
you go to the backyard, the guy's like, "Hey, I'm living here, bro, still."
Well, they just kind of like stay in the house. I've been like so many situations with squatters, and it's like,
and they're just
in there because
what are they?
First, they're not supposed to be there,
right?
So they're not going to say anything to you,
right? Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, you never know. Someone comes out with a.
No, we've had situations. I remember one time these tweakers came out.
Oh, so there you go.
And this woman came out. She's carrying a baby, and I'm like, damn, these tweakers are living in this place. Got a kid in here, it was just gnarly. Or one time I was skating in Venice. We're skating at night, and they had like the ramps that went up to the walls and stuff. And we're like, yeah, let's get this ramp wall. And this one dude with a machete comes and chases us.
Dude.
And we're like skating away from him, and I skate across all this rough ground. So I fall off my board, and he chases past me to get to my friends. And we're all like, hey, dude. And he's like, no skating here. People are sleeping. Like, he's watching out for all the homeless people. And that's like right by the pit,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I got to walk past this dude with a machete. I'm like, okay, I'm walking my board, dude. I'm good, And
I'll be using it as either defense or a weapon if I have to at that point. That guy's got a weapon.
Just get him to stick the machete in the board and then take it from him.
I don't know. Watch your fingers.
This dude was crazy. But then we go back and we're talking to Hartzell and John Thomas. And they're like, oh, yeah, you saw Machete, dude. Oh, yeah. He's they called him like the street warrior or something, And we're like, oh, shoot, dude.
Comes
like,
out
oh, yeah, you don't
6.
skate Venice after dark. Like,
right.
Oh, okay. All right. So I learned, And,
yeah. Okay. Dude,
that's crazy. And then that was like in the prime era before they buried all of Old Venice, right? Or was that?
No, yeah, way before all that.
Yeah, because
it's like when they still we had the launch ramps set up. Mm-hmm. It's so funny because like there was a wall.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Venice wall?
Mm-hmm.
You've watched Tim Jackson's part, like the wall, and like it went down on the other side, and we'd put like a quarter pipe this way, so it was like 8 foot high on this side, 4 foot high on this side. So, but then there'd be we'd have a launch ramp here, and all the skaters would be chilling on the wall, and all the tourists would be on the other side. And the launch ramp's here, we're kicking over here, all the tourists. And it's just like how Venice is now. All the tourists are on one side, all the skaters are on the other side, skating in between. And it's crazy because the energy, sometimes things just, it's like, it's iconic thing. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's going to find a way to express itself.
It's so crazy that, I'm just thinking of the curb, right? That how people skate the curves at Venice or, Santa Monica curves. And, dude, so iconic in how they just keep preserving it, making sure that it's still good. They sweep it up, they keep it clean. And I mean, it's like, since back in the day, since Nadas, was skating them, you're like, how does this place
since they built it, like it got built. They built those curbs like in the 80s, and it instantly became a skate spot.
It's wild.
And it's like, you look at the old videos, like they were skating it in the 70s, like just skating, cruising along the boardwalk to go surf, you know? And like, it just, there was already something. Now they got curves. Now people are skating curves, and it's still being skated. Like those guys, Chris Roberts and them were skating, and they weren't even around for the 80s.
Right.
It's like,
and Chris just learned how to, not just learned, but he recently learned how to like slappies and stuff like that, because he was more of a techie skater.
Yeah.
And he goes, man, they're so fun. It's like,
yeah.
But you can still get really hurt on a slappy, man. Those curves ain't no joke.
I think anything on a skateboard, if you fall right, it'll hurt.
Oh yeah.
Even just doing the baby ollie on flatland.
Oh man, it's just there's so much. It's just so much. Like we were just saying, it's just like you get injured, and you're just like, you're not gonna let your injury stop you. You're just gonna keep skating. You're gonna figure out a way to do it.
I was that guy, roll an ankle, and then like I think I'd be better, and then a couple beers, I'm like, look, I'm walking on it, and I'm good, and then skate it a little bit. Next thing you know, the next day it's back to swollen. You're like, oh yeah, needed another couple of days.
I'm on that level right now because I have a sprained ankle, and I skated West Coast. What was it, Tuesday? And I'm sitting there, I'm like all happy because I'm getting my nollie back tail sides on the ledges. Yeah. I wake up the next day, I was like, damn, I should have skated.
Yeah, the next day you feel it. Once the adrenaline's gone, but while that adrenaline's there, it's good. It's all go. And then later you deal with it. Yeah. But it's like, oh, I can't skate today, and then you're like, something happens. You end up on your board again, and now you're fully skating, and then I should have waited another day. But
even when I have like a bad back, sometimes like I'll be all stiff, and I'm like, I'll still end up skating, and sometimes it'll actually fix itself because I'm like, I actually maneuvered enough to get it to loosen up. Yeah. Whereas opposed to if I just stayed in the house all day, I would have just still been messed up. Yeah. But there are some times where, I could fix myself, and then there's some times where I'm like, oh, man, that did hurt. Yeah. But, dude, shout out to that fact that you only bought one board, though. That's still... Yeah,
one board, that's it.
That's so cool. What are you rocking right now? What are you riding?
Well, this company, Sentient Skateboards. So Stephen Williams, he's had this company since way back. Like he's an old Embarcadero skater that skated with back in the day in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I'll get into the '90s stuff later, but basically, I used to go up to San Francisco a lot. My aunt lived in Oakland. My uncle lived in San Francisco. I'd stay at my aunt's for a few days. I'd stay at my uncle's for a few days. I'd stay with my homies for a few days. And I just kind of bounced back and forth during the summers. Yeah. And I would just basically skate San Francisco like all the time. And all the hills crazy. And bombing and stuff like that. So he hit me up, and he's made me a couple pro boards. Yeah. So I've got one board that's like a slick bottom board. Okay. And then one board it's got like a regular graphic, but then it also he also put them on a bunch of shape boards. So I've got a few of those boards.
That's dope.
He's making another run of them right now. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that.
Well, okay, so I rode for Alva in the 80s. Uh-huh. Tony Alva took his name back. He started 100% Alva. So the guy that was running Alva, he's like, well, I'm changing the company. Kick Dave Duncan. Like, Dave Duncan's not the team manager anymore. And they're like, we're going to call it New School. And I'm like, how do you go from being on Alva to being on New School? Like, I was the New School kid, but I was still, like, following on that legacy of Alva. Like, you walked into a room. Like, I remember going to a Metallica concert, and people were like, oh, he's an Alva rider, and, like, carrying me through the crowd and stuff. And it was like you had a, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much reputation.
Like a rock star image.
Dude, Alva was, like, he was the best skateboarder, like...
He was a rock star.
Before Tony Hawk, before Nyjah, like, he was it, you know? Yeah. And it's like, if you were on his team, it's like being on Disorder or Birdhouse, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, you were...
In my days,
you were like the creme de la creme, you know? Yeah. So, it's just like, there was already a reputation, and as soon as you put the Alva shirt on, or the Alva team, you know, you just got, doors just open, you know? And
that's amazing.
Then it's like, oh yeah, you can skate for New School, or you can skate for Public, because Eddie Radke started Public through new school, you know.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, I'm not going to go for new school. I'll be on public, you know. So now,
sounds better too.
well, the thing is, like, the girl that came, she like became the team manager. She's like, everybody's got to bring their footage in. Let's see your footage, you know. And I had footage doing all this stuff. I'm olling over tables, and I'm like, I'm also skating pools. I'm skating ramps, and you know,
all terrain.
And she's just like, whoa, like you're the top of the team now. Like, you can do whatever you want because you're the best rider on the team. And I'm just like, oh, okay. She's like, well, you can go for new school or you go for public. And I'm like, I'll go for public. Eddie's from Long Beach, you know, I'll go for his
right,
team,
for his
you know.
team.
Like, he's the only one from the old team that's still around, you know. So we started, there's these full pipes at LAX. They were putting full pipes in. And they were like staggers. You could ollie from one end to the other and stuff. Right. And he's going with me filming rails and filming vert stuff, bulls and street, you know. And I go to San Francisco, but before this, like, Greg Basic, he starts Basic Skateboards. And I'm like, dude, who's riding for your team? And he's all, oh, Brian Wood is. And I'm like, dude, I skate for Alba. What are you talking about, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like trying to get me to come ride for his team. And I'm just like, nah, dude, I'm already set, you know. But I get on public and I go to San Francisco, and I think I break my board like the first week. And I don't got a board, you know? So I'm like, let me call Eddie, like, I'm calling him. I'm never getting through.
Because you need some boards.
I need boards. Like, I'm trying to get some more boards. Someone gives me one of the real boards, the one with the KKK guy hanging from the tree.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dope. I'm riding this, you know. But so I'm riding that. I'm riding, like, other people are giving me stuff. Shrugi's giving me some Spitfire wheels. I'm just like, kind of like SF skaters. They're not here with the industry. They're just riding whatever they can, you know, but they're having their own little bit of industry up there.
Right.
And I'm just kind of getting hooked up, and I'm still trying to call Eddie. I'm like, dude, where are you, you know? And I guess public didn't make it that long. But if I would have stayed with New School, I probably would have been hooked up. But so I end up calling Greg, and he's like, all right, let's make you a board and stuff. Like, come on back down here, you know? So I come back here, and we set it up, and I design a board.
For New School or for
Basic?
Basic, okay.
So I have my own, like, this boards still aren't pop school yet, but the noses are bigger.
They're getting longer.
I made this board with like 7 1/4 nose, like some huge nose, squared out nose, kind of came out and then tapered down and round tail, which was something I had learned from Marcus Olives. Round tail is good for ollies, you know? Right. So I've had this board, and nollies are becoming big, switch ollies are becoming big. So I'm doing all this nollie and switch stuff, and
you have to get with the times.
Yeah, and I totally designed this board, and it was like gonna be my pro model. And then we go on tour all over the U.S. And Greg just, like, he's not paying us, like he's not feeding us or anything. No. And when I get back, I'm just like, I'm off this team. So I never had that board made. But I had the board, I had the graphics, I had everything. And
they never made a sample or nothing.
No, they made like samples.
They make samples, okay, but it never went in the run.
Yeah, we went around the U.S. and everywhere we went, people were like, dude, I want this board. Like, you know, it was going to be a good seller, you know? Yeah. Because everybody's like, I've never seen a board like this. This is insane, you know? And everyone's still designing. Like, back then, you knew whose board it was by their shape, right? You know? Yeah. So you knew that was a Hosoi board. You knew that was a cab board. You knew that was a Nodis board. You knew that was a Sheffy board. Like, you could tell by the shape. Right. And so now I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm just going to leave this, you know. And then I just kind of bounce around to a bunch of companies. Okay. Like, just kind of trade show companies. Like, it's like it's like they put a company together for the trade show. Oh, let me get sponsored by you. And then it's like, do they last to the next trade show? Right.
I mean, I would watch skate videos back in the day, like, and they'd have ads in the commercials, like, ads for new stuff coming out, and sometimes they never even made it. Yeah, you know, like they never even come out. You're like, oh damn, this looks sick, and then like, what happened to the A-Team or whatever? They're like, nah, it didn't happen, or something. You know, like, oh shit.
Yeah, be fully in the magazine. And yeah, like the '90s was a crazy wild west of skating, because now it's like, okay, I'm because I'm going to SF, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna focus on my street skills.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, okay, I'm really like getting techie.
I mean, that's where everybody was starting to do the crooks and all the stuff. You know what I mean? Like over there in Embarcadero.
Yeah. Well, the Embarcadero, like I'd see Mike Carroll and Henry Sanchez, and the stuff they were doing was so
ahead of its time.
It was just like, oh, people were just doing everything. They were setting the standard, but they were doing it once for video, you know?
That's true. I remember those days, those good old days. No.
Except Mike Carroll and Henry Sanchez. Like, those guys are landing everything every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not just like, oh, I landed it. Like, oh, let me do it again. You know, it's like, and Costin, same thing. I've seen him do stuff over and over again where it's just like,
he just wants to get
most people can't do one of those tricks. And he's got a line of these tricks. And he does the line like 50 times. And it's like, every time was perfect. Like, what is he filming it for? Like, what, how much more perfect can you be,
Yeah.
And now it's like a standard. Like, my son and his friends are like, oh, that's toe drag. That's this and that. I'm like, dude, like, you guys have to be exactly perfect. Oh, I pivoted away. It's got to be land away rolling. It's like the standard has just gone through the roof.
Sometimes a little bit of like sketchiness makes it stylish,
Some hash.
Yeah.
Completely.
You know what I mean?
Some good hash, like a little quick hand drag or a little trying to save it.
I mean, people love seeing cardio.
Mm-hmm.
He would throw himself out there. Like, he is just make it or break it. And it's like, that's what skating is. It's being on the edge of your seat. It's being on the what you're just going for it. It's a Hail Mary. It's like when I dropped in the first time, it's like, I'm going for this giant ramp. It's like, I'm either going to make it or I'm going to be smashed on the ground, on the bottom, there's a point where you have to throw yourself.
I think when you skate like too perfect, like almost to where you're like Nyjah perfect, it takes away from skateboarding. Like, you're just kind of like, was it really that hard? But then when you see someone like Cardiel just like, big rail, I'm gonna try to overcook and then land there just like trying to hold on to it.
I mean, look at the cardio rail. Like, everybody looked at that rail. I looked at that rail. It's like knee high. This is not very high at all. It's like, oh, I could boardside that, no problem. It's at an angle, so where you're getting on, it's like super low, but it's like giant stairs. You're landing on a downhill, like, you're going into the middle of the street.
That's the one he broke his back on, right?
Did he break his back? I'm not sure.
I know he broke his back on it was like on a double set rail.
No, this was the super long.
The gold one?
Dude, there's like a few rails that are cardio rails.
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about. That one's the one that's like, it's like wood steps. Like,
yeah.
It's not even like real steps. It's like.
Yeah, and it's like almost like in a park.
Yeah. That's like total NorCal type of spot, right?
Yeah, so that's the one that you're talking about. I think the gold one, right?
The gold one is like that long one that he 50-50'd and he just got on and just stood on it and just went all the way there.
Yeah.
No one else has done it before that. No one else did it after. It's just kind of like he shut it down and that was that,
Yeah.
And it's like everyone looked at it, but it's like, and even the way he got on, it was like, Nyjah would get on like lock in.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, okay, I'm standing up. I'm here. I'm just staying on it. And he rolls away. It's insane. You know, like that's the kind of skating we want to see. Like, it's like, this is the thing. Like, Tony Hawk would not win contests because he was the best skater. He'd win contests because his dad owned not NSA, and he had all these tricks. But to everybody else, Christian won the contest. Chris Miller won the contest. Like, they were the ones who were throwing themselves all out there and like really bringing the energy, really like make it or break it. Even though Christian was a bit more stylish and stuff, like the way he would do it, it's still like he's up in the air like 12 feet.
Right.
Like, yeah, he's stylish, but dude,
he was blasting
no one else is going to jump that high, off the ramp. Mm-hmm. No one else could get that high, Yep. And it's like, yeah, he might have landed it, but it's just like a point where it's just like, dude, he's pushing the limits,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Tony Hawk wasn't really pushing the limits. He was doing these tricks where it's like, whoa, he's gonna put his feet back on. He was pushing the limits in that way, but it wasn't the same.
Right.
It wasn't that cardio. It wasn't that,
that rawness that comes with like skateboarding, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's like that one rawness where like, dude, that dude just went for it. did hope for the best and took off and landed and rolled away.
I mean,
Exactly.
I like the way Sheffy skates, man. He's just a powerhouse. So, I mean, it wasn't the prettiest, landings, but man, he's a beast on a board. You know what I mean?
I think that's why I'm attracted more towards like hesh skaters like Braden Hoban, Figgy, dudes like Colin Provost.
What's that guy?
Yeah.
The Fletcher?
Grayson
Fletcher.
Grayson's dope.
Dude.
Grayson's dope. His dad, like, he's full on skater. Like he came with us in Europe and he cruised around. Like he just hung out with us in Europe, going on the skateboarding tour. And like
His dad or
Grayson Fletcher's dad, Christian Fletcher.
Okay.
He's the first one to do a kickflip on a surfboard.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
On a longboard.
Yeah, I remember I watched that footage and I was like, wow.
On a longboard. And it was like on the wave where like there was the chop and he
he
kickflipped
kicked
it. And it's a longboard. And it's like, no way. And it's like people they offered money like some 5 years ago for the first person to kickflip a surfboard. And it's like, dude, he already did it a long time ago. But they're like, oh, he's got to be on the wave. Like, I don't know, dude. But Fletcher, he was all into bowls and stuff. When we built Howland Skate Park, he'd show up at the park closed, the lights go off, he'd show up, hey, what's up, Brian? I'm going to go skate the park. I'm like, dude, there's no lights. He's like, I like it that way. 'Cause he's just a soul skater, like
That
soul
is
surfer.
scary.
And he's skating around the bowl in the dark, And
That is insane.
we're like randomly like, where's Fletcher? Where's Fletcher? We're looking for him. It's like a festival skate contest thing. And my friend's like, he's up on the stage playing bass. Like, he got the bass from the dude and he's sitting there playing the bass. And we're like, what the hell? Like, he's just molded into anything,
That's
And
amazing.
and then Grayson's his son. He just like
That makes
grew up with
sense.
him and then Herbie Fletcher is the original surfer in the family.
Okay.
And he started Astro Deck. So the Fletchers got big off of that Astro Deck, putting that on the foam. It's like grip tape for your surfboard.
Okay.
So you don't have to wax your surfboard,
Ah.
And they got big. I mean, we used to use the Astro Deck on our skateboards to put under the rails to grab you remember those?
So you can like get a little grippy.
Yeah, so you grab the board and you had the rail to,
Mm-hmm.
you had the Astro Deck there to grab.
I've heard that story before.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Grayson's like one of my all-time favorites right now.
yeah.
Just the way he skates bowls, but you don't know if he's gonna land it because he just like shot out into a sketchy front air, and then he does front airs, no hand grabs or anything. I'm like, that's even sicker.
Yeah, he can skate straight. He can, he just throws himself into everything. And he's not just trying to be a contest skater,
Right.
He doesn't really care
does
about it,
everything.
but he'll skate them,
Yeah,
but he wants to just skate.
Yeah.
And that's like, the whole thing is like that 90s part, like from that time when I left Alba, when Alba changed to, from like early 90s to the mid 90s, the X Games.
Mm-hmm.
Like contests weren't really important, so everyone's making video parts, everyone's trying to land that trick that one time for the video, and there's this crazy progression of skateboarding that hasn't been equaled in any other time, like, because it's not, once contests became important, people started doing tricks to land tricks. Look at the vert skaters from the 90s. Look at Colin McKay. Look at these people like switchback tails. Like
Colin McKay was
tray flips on vert.
Yeah.
Look at
he was
Alfonso.
a street skater on the vert ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But-
Alfonso Ross too.
Yeah, Alfonso Rawls. He did a full cab late flip on vert. Fakey late flip. Dude, none of the vert skaters are doing that today.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I liked back in the early 2000s that was skating like that? Was Rune Glifberg.
Yeah, Rune too.
Rune, and then there was also that dude Alex Chalmers.
Alex Chalmers, yeah.
Yeah, they were for me. They were gnarly along with like Colin McKay and all of them,
Yeah.
because they were like the older dudes when I was getting into skating, but they were the rippers.
Yeah. I remember like I would go up to Santa Barbara, like Pal had the skates on,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be like the only one skating, and then it would be like me and Colin McKay. And it'd be like, because they had like a mini ramp, a spine ramp, that went and spined into a bowl. So it was like, oh, cool, it's a bowl, but it's a ramp. You can do tricks on it. It's like a pool, but you can do tricks on it. You can't do those kind of stuff in pools, But I remember it's just like me and him skating, and it's like the whole place is empty.
Dang.
But back then, like, I talked to the power skaters. None of them go to Santa Barbara. Like back then, you went to your sponsor, you hung out, you went through the factory, you went and got stuff. Now they just send you stuff.
Yeah.
Like the skaters now are like so disconnected. I think it's because they're like people started their own companies. They're like, okay, you're not finding out our secrets, you know.
That's true too.
So
yeah, that could be it too. Yeah, you start learning all the ins and outs. And
well, what I used to like about like watching old like 411s or stuff like that, or like talking to old pros, they'd be like, yeah, man, we just jump in our car and take a quick trip up to Santa Barbara, go hang out at the Power Warehouse, pick up a bunch of product and go skate around. And I'm like, damn, that was like always a dream for me growing up. But as you know, shit got more expensive, cars and all that shit. It made it harder to take trips like that.
And now they could just do a Zoom meeting.
Yeah. Well, even like trying to find friends who are down to do that shit is hard.
People don't even want to go skate a skate park in LA, the Valley. And it's like, we had to go, because this is the thing. We're getting busted all the time by cops.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember, like, okay, I got 3 tickets in one day.
Damn.
One time. Like, 2 tickets at Belmont Pool, Ledges, and 1 ticket downtown. Like, got ticket at Belmont, went downtown, got a ticket downtown, went back to Belmont, got another ticket at Belmont. I'm like walking with 3 tickets, you know, for skateboarding, each like $150.
Damn.
I actually just found like this thing that's all Brian Wood has successfully completed the course for skateboarding as a crime. Like, you know, it's like
that's amazing.
Like they had to go through a scared straight program for skateboarding.
Yeah.
So they had like that.
Would your sponsors pay for the tickets?
Nah.
No? Fuck.
Nah, sponsors were like, there was none of that stuff, you know?
I mean,
like now it's crazy because
take care of this, yeah.
Yeah, now it's like, I mean, it's kind of because of stuff that happened with us is why things are the way they are now. Like, we had to be the test pilot.
That's true.
So, but
I mean, we did get rowdy as in the 90s, though. I mean, we did get pretty crazy in the streets and stuff like that. It wasn't, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they just pulled us over. They thought they treated us like gang members, you know.
Luckily for me, in the 90s, it was kind of a little more like, because they were more looking for gang members in the 90s in my areas.
Yeah, all that.
So like, if I was skateboarding, I didn't get messed with.
Right.
It was almost like, it was like a disguise for me.
Yeah.
You know, because in my area, it was crazy. If I was walking on the street, pulled over, yep.
Well, I got shot at one time by a cop.
Shoot.
And the bullet just went right by my head. Like, you know. And then I like, when I got busted, they were just like, oh, you were just skateboarding? I'm like, yeah, what do you think? Oh, well, we were doing a drug bust. We thought you were part of it. I'm like, what the hell?
That could be dangerous.
And then, they were like so pissed I was just a skater. They just let me go.
Mm-hmm.
But another time, I was skating in Haight Street in San Francisco. Guy's undercover is, he's like doing a bust, you know? Random dude just grabs me, but he's an undercover cop.
Okay.
He just grabs me while I'm skating down the street. I grab my board. I'm like hitting him on the arm.
Yeah.
Getting him to like...
He's not identifying himself?
Yeah, I'm getting him to stop. I'm like hitting him on the arm. Like, let go of my arm, you know? And hitting him on the board with my board on his arm. And he's like, I'm a cop. And I'm like, oh, I dropped my board. Next thing I'm like in the back of his car. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a cop. What do you do? I go, dude, I don't know. You just grabbed my arm and stuff.
Yeah.
He let me go.
Yeah.
I assaulted a cop with a skateboard, like with a deadly weapon.
He didn't identify himself.
But because he didn't identify himself, he didn't want to go through it, and he was too busy in his bus that he was doing, he let me go. And it's like, you know... Oh, another thing I'm just going to tell you back from the 80s. I took this one dude, this photographer from Thrasher, to this rail. Like, nobody had rails in the... It wasn't like... It was still a new thing, you know?
Yes.
And I went to go take him to skate this one rail. The Hyatt had like 4 6-stair rails in a row. So you could hit like 1, 2, 3, 4. Costin does like all of them in one video part where he does a different trick on each one.
Okay. And
I take this guy and I'm like, hey, let me do it first. Don't take the picture of the first one. Let me do it first, and then I get the picture. I do the rail, break my board.
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, I could have had one of the first pictures in the magazine doing a rail, you know. And
damn,
it's like, you know, just things like that. But it taught me like, okay, always stay on it. Like always, when the photographers are with you, the filmers are with you, always be on it. Like,
Yeah.
always
Even
do
if
your
you're not
trick.
ready. Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of times I learned filming too, like taking, and like a lot of times, sometimes they get it on their first try,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, let's try to get it better or something, and then they can't get it.
Yeah. Like
you
you
know
get
what I
it
mean?
right away, and then it's like 50,
So
60 tries.
you gotta be ready though, being the filmer and a photographer.
Yeah.
So I'll even tell them like, I might get this first try, guys. So be ready. Make sure you get it good.
Yeah.
So yeah, because then the further away I get from it, the more I try. It seems like.
But it was a crazy progression, you know. And then the first time the X Games came, we're like, oh yeah. They're like, oh come on.
Is it the one where Jimmy?
Well, no, it was even.
Jimmy Thomas?
It was before that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so when the ESPN came and they wanted to do something, and they came to film something, we went to Chicken's Bowl, and they're like, okay, you guys, Duncan's like, okay, everybody be professional, be like, let's be real professional and stuff.
Skaters.
And we're just like, okay, let's do this, and we all come like, oh yeah, we're being accepted by the athletes, you know, we're being seen as athletes.
Right.
So we're trying to be like athletes, like we're trying to be jocks.
Yeah.
And these dudes got these big
Jocks.
old beer bellies. They got a keg. They got full on taco bar. Like, you know, they weren't athletic at all. And we were like, what the hell? Like these, you know, it's just all for show, you know?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, this is a joke, you know? But the next month, they wanted to get into skating.
Okay.
You know, the next year they started the X Games. So, but they were trying
to see.
so it was like there was money there. They didn't know. They
They're
came
trying
with,
to
they're
think,
testing the waters. And then once they did the X Games, now skating stopped progressing. Now it's all about what can you do consistently. You know, while you're doing you're doing some trick or flipping or something. Now you're just doing a 5-0.
Right.
You know, to land it in the contest.
Yeah.
So it changed skating, and that's why we haven't seen a progression like that since then.
Okay. And when did you have your son?
Well, so in '94 I went to Europe on a tour.
Okay.
I skated all the contests. It was like, okay, I'm gonna go skate the World Cup, and the whole time I was there, I just wanted to skate parks. We didn't have skate parks in America, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys like, oh, I want to take you to this gap. I want to take you to these street spots. Like, you know, they want to take me to, oh, you're all there real fast, but take me to the skate park. You know, like no way, you all that. Like, oh yeah, that's cool, but you know, I'm like, we skate street stuff all the time. Like,
yeah, you want to hit the parks.
Like, take me to the skate parks, you know, because I'm like, we got actual skate parks, like cement bowls, and you know, like these different things, and like because I've come from skate pools, I'm showing these kids how to skate these things, and they're just like, no way you can do this. Like, yeah, you know, you guys got the parks, but you never had to work for it like we had to work for it, you know. So it's like, but I'm like, dang, now come back. I came back and this was like '94. Found out my girlfriend was pregnant, you know. So I had a daughter, and then who's now 30 years old.
Okay.
You know, so I kind of like was still being a skater and having a kid, and like taking her to contests with me and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, you know. And then it's like when I was like 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, I was doing the biggest rails. I was doing the biggest gaps. I had like, I could skate vert, I could skate bowls. I had all my technical stuff. Like that was the best time of my skating, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I look at these kids and like, dude, you still are gonna, like Nigel's 30 years old. Like, dude, he's at his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are like, oh, he's older, but he's still making it. No, he's at his prime. Like, and now that the kids like really know how to, now they're doing like exercises and stuff. Like they're actually doing exercises for skateboarding.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, my son, I had him in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of been skating a lot, and then I went back to school, and I went to graduate school, and I'm like in graduate school thinking like, oh, I'm gonna have my son be full on academic, you know, like I'm gonna have him learning all these things and stuff, and like I'm still skating with all my old friends like Wee Man and you know Jose Cerda, and like I'm still skating.
Shout out to
Ron
Jose
Chapman,
Cerda.
and, you know, I'm still skating with all my friends I grew up skating with,
Uh-huh.
and So I've still got skateboards around and stuff. He just like was obsessed with skateboards. So he's like 8 months old, and I got him in the crib. I'm over here making a burrito.
Yeah.
Come out, and he's broke out of his crib, and he would break out of his crib, crawl over to my skateboards, which would be sitting against the wall, knock it over. It would like fall down on him. He'd grab it, flip it, put it on his wheels, and crawl up onto it.
Oh, wow.
And I'd just be like, every time I left him alone, he would go to my skateboards, you know? So I'm like, okay, I'm just throwing a skateboard into the crib with him. It's like no more soft animal toys, like no more stuff. Like you're just gonna have like grip tape, bolts, bearing grease, like you're getting it all, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, once I put the board in the crib, he stopped breaking out of the crib.
That's amazing.
And it's just because I would take him and I would walk him around the block, and I'd hold his hand. He'd just stand on the board. He couldn't walk yet.
Yeah.
You know, like, and he'd just stand on the board, and I just walk him around the block rather than I didn't have to take a whole stroller downstairs to take him out. I just take the skateboard and just cruise around, you know. And then he was just upset. Like his first birthday, he's got all these toys and stuff, and like we gave him a cupcake. Like that was the first time he ever ate sugar, you know, ever ate sweet.
Yeah.
So he's eating a cupcake, and we give him the skateboard, like his first actual skateboard, you know, and he drops the cupcake.
She's like,
he drops all the toys, he drops everything, and just like the rest of the day, it was just, this is my board. Like this, he knew it was like, this is my own board. Like I got my own skateboard.
That's
and it's
so
like
cool.
Then he would just cruise with me, and I would be like, I'd take him skating one day, I'd go skate with my friends the next day. Take him skating. So every other day I'm taking him skating, and then every other day I'm actually getting to skate with my friends and stuff. You know, I think like Vans opened. I've got a picture with him. He's like 1 year old.
Is this the indoor one?
No, the outdoor
one. Okay.
I'm holding him on my arm, skating with him on the first day that Vans opens, and I'm like up on the top of the bowl, like that big 13-foot bowl. And someone took a perfect picture of it. You know, it's
That's
on my
crazy.
Instagram. I'll show you. But
yeah,
but it's funny because he like skated all around. He's like barely 1 year old, and then it was like, oh, you gotta wait till you're 6 years old or 5 years old. We told him we were 6, you know, and then he had to wait for COVID, and now he waited until he was 13 so he could skate without pads.
Right.
And now he's like finally just turned 13, so he's like, okay, but yeah, he was just obsessed with skateboarding. I was just like, and on top of it, everybody in the industry is giving him boards and stuff. So it's like he's already, I've never bought a board for him and stuff. Like
that's so cool. I mean, he's killing it out there, dude. He went to you guys went to the Two Felons Game of Skate
dude,
one.
He almost
I know.
got it. Like
he's like third place, right?
He was the only person to give Jeff Cesare a letter.
Yep.
He gave him 2 letters, and it was Sk8. Like he could have beat Jeff Cesare, which is crazy that he got that far through it. And it's like,
and Jeff's one of those dudes where if he goes first, you got no chance.
It's Jeff.
And if you get to go first, you better hope all your tricks come out first try.
Well, the crazy thing too is the tricks that he was getting him, like fakey inward heel and like inward heel. These are tricks that my son could do. And there's like, oh, he could have actually landed those, and still he could have beat Jeff. And I'm like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. But then they were like, oh yeah, it's anything goes. And I'm like, oh shoot, I should have entered and done no complies and stuff. Like, I'm like, oh man, I probably could have won it, like, because none of those guys know none of these tricks.
Some
like,
street plants or stuff like that.
See, I would always go to Cherry and skate, and I would always play games of skate, or I would, especially like the late '90s, early 2000s. People didn't know I skated, and I just pull up, oh, hey, I'll play a game of skate for $5.
Oh, damn.
And then I beat them. So I'd be like, okay, cool, hustle some games of skate, And I had a trick.
Kids' lunch money, like, sorry.
Yeah. Well, now the barracks, like, oh, you can only do popping tricks. You can't do no complies and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do like these hand plant finger flips and stuff that nobody can do, But I've been doing them since the 80s, so it's like...
Well, I've seen your wall ride finger flip,
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool.
But
yeah, and you did bring a slap magazine that you're in.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, this was Rick Kosick took this photo.
Rick Kosick? Shout out to Rick.
Yeah, even before he was big, right?
Look at this. I don't know if we can see this, but yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, I leaned across two roofs. And the thing is, like, how skateboarding was back then, I took this picture like 3 years before this came out.
Roof to roof. Roof to roof.
Yeah, so by the time this came out, I had already kickflipped over it and stuff. Like,
Oh, wow.
but check out what it says right here. Like, it's talking about how people like to do different things. You know, others spend their time utilizing planters, curves, and benches as their playground. Then there's the select few, the humans that choose a different rush, a massive challenge, a final decision-making experience with no turning back. He who flies stairs and gaps is an extremist. Their view of the skateboard world is a bit different. It's unique and very challenging to the self. Everyone likes to see someone leap a fat gap or a large stairwell, but not everyone is willing to try.
That's true.
And it's like, and I'm like there, you know, like you're reading that, and
Yeah,
you
well-
see my picture, it's like, oh, this is dope. Like I gotta get that framed and
Yeah,
with the
you do.
thing, you know, and then with the cover. But
Dude, that's so sick. Photo by Cossack.
yeah, and I gotta get.
You think he's got the? You think he's still got the original somewhere?
Huh?
You think Cossack has the original somewhere?
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does because
Got to hit
I've
him
heard
up.
that he's really organized and
Mhm.
stuff, but maybe he's not. Like,
Never know.
but you know, like
Were you in
Cossack he got in. Do you guys remember Power Edge?
Power Edge?
no.
So Power Edge, okay, so you got Transworld in San Diego, right? You got Thrasher in San Francisco. So San Diego, San Francisco, but LA, Orange County, we didn't really have our own thing, right?
Right.
Like, but this is where all the industry was. All the skateboard companies are in Orange County,
Mm-hmm.
but it's San Diego versus San Francisco. You know, Power Edge was out of Orange County here. Actually, I think from this area, like around Whittier here. But
Okay.
Power Edge is Ben Schroeder's brother, Alex Schroeder, started Power Edge magazine. They were
Okay.
kind of a smaller magazine, but they were trying to make a skate magazine. But it was our magazine, like our LA Orange County area magazine, you know. And he kind of needed photographers, and Rick Cossack was his homie, so he got him. You know, he was like, I don't think he was even paying him or anything at the first, but he was like,
Take some photos.
he was taking the photos, and so, like, and then Slap started. Cossack started skating or filming
Slap.
for Slap, and then he got into the Jackass stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. The Big Brother.
Oh, Big Brother, right?
Yeah.
Then he went to Big Brother, right?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so he went through that line. So this was like early on in his career, like, cause he took a picture of me, like there was this rail. It was like a little knee-high rail, but it went around a corner, and like I was skating it. It was like around a corner, and it was like a curved rail. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be sick. I got this lip slide around it, but when I come off, I'd land on the dirt. And I'd have to like kind of tic-tac out, like, you know, walk out.
Yeah.
But I was like, get that slide. And he took a picture and he never used it because he's like, well, you didn't really roll away. And I'm like, dude, you couldn't. Like, you know, nowadays kids will put a board there, you know.
Yeah.
But back then that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't change things. It has to be the way it is, you know. So I had taken photos with him before. I'd taken other photos, but this one was like, oh, you know, he put that one up.
Were you amazed when it
think
came out?
before Slap even started, you know, and this is like the 1 year anniversary issue.
Okay.
So he's like, oh, they're finally used that photo, you know.
Oh, so he told you about it?
Yeah, he's like, oh, they're finally using the photo, and I was like, oh, cool, you know. And then when it came out, everybody was hyped on it. Like,
All right.
it was still relevant because skateboarding, you know, now it's like,
Yeah, you have to.
you're at the session still. You post on Instagram. Everybody knows what you did before you even get home or before you even go get tacos. You
That's
know?
funny.
It's like it's just so completely different. It's like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, dude, back in the day, we're like, oh, if everybody saw what I'm doing on a daily basis, they'd see how rad we are, you know.
Mhm.
But it's like now it's actually happening. Or it's just kind of like, you know, we always like when they started banking skate parks, we'd be like, oh, if we only had these when we were kids, we'd be
Exactly.
ripping. Well, look at my son. Like,
Yeah.
look at the kids now. They
Yeah.
had skate parks growing up. They have all these parks, and they're ripping.
And
Just
they're
like we
ripping.
said we would have been doing
Yeah.
if we had skate parks when we were growing up.
That's all I wanted. Like you said, like you said when you went to Europe, you're like, I want to skate park because we didn't have parks. We're like, damn, these guys were so lucky. Like when we watched like the guys at what was it? The World guys, they had their own little park and stuff.
Oh, World Industries Park, yeah.
I'm like, man,
and it's just like your stuff out here. You know?
Exactly.
It's like in a
I
campsite.
didn't see. Well, that came a little bit later. I started building all this stuff.
Right.
Like in the 2000s, I think when my brother started skating, like when my little brother started skating with his friend,
right?
I go, man, I used to have like board slides, but it wasn't like they were cool, but they weren't as how I make them now. Because now everything's more advanced, so it's a little bit smarter about how because we would just drag a picnic table top back to the house or whatever construction site we could get some wood from. We'd put it up on some bricks. You know what I mean? We just make whatever we could out of anything. And now I'm like, okay, let me go buy the plywood. Let me actually buy the 2x4s. Let me make an actual fun box, you know? But as before, we just stacked it up on whatever we could.
Dude, I remember one time we all got busted from stealing wood from some dude who was remodeling his house.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were trying to build a little mini ramp in the homie's backyard.
That's a lot of wood.
Yeah, so we were taking a gang of wood, and then next thing you know, two of the homies get caught by the neighbor taking it, so they go in and go, hey, those dudes over there in that house are taking wood. They come to the backyard. They see like they see the skeleton to the mini ramp. They're all, we want all our wood back. I was like, but it's all cut and shaped.
Yeah.
And then
already been started.
Yeah, and they're all like, well, we'll call the cops if you don't give it back. We're like, all right. So we had to dismantle a whole skeleton.
Damn.
Yeah, see, when I was like 14, actually, like my mom sent me a picture of me skating my first ramp that I made, but we made this vert ramp, like made this 8-foot high ramp, like 8 foot wide, 8 foot high, on my roof.
Damn.
Oh, damn.
Of all places, you know. But there was like a construction, like they were building a house next door, and we took all the wood. We just like took the wood and built the ramp like next door, and like, you know. But it was like, you know, like I said, it was the whole community, so it was all the kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then we spray painted like stuff all over the thing.
Yeah.
But I guess somebody told them like, oh, if you guys say anything, we're gonna burn down your house. So they never said anything to us about it. But when it's like once we skated it was on the roof, so it echoed like for blocks.
Wow.
So the whole neighborhood was like, you gotta take that thing down. So we took it down, and they gave them back their wood, and they put the wood up, and the wood had all the graffiti. But yeah, we were totally. It was just we were kids, you know. I mean, my friends were like, dude, why weren't we building stuff out of cement the way everyone's building DIYs now? And it's like, damn, we could have been doing this back then. Like, but it's like, yeah, that was what professionals did. But weird, you know, that's the whole thing. The ramp saved skateboarding. You know, making those vert ramps, making a little quarter pipe, of, you know, something that saved skateboarding. And then it was like, but that's not going to work. Let's just do street skating, you know, and then
street skating.
And look where we are now. You
Yeah.
know? Now we got all these skate parks. Like if we wouldn't have done the ramps, we'd probably still just be a novelty thing, you know.
I mean, there's more and more parks popping up every day. It seems like too. So that's a good thing.
Every weekend, right?
It's like every city's getting on board with it now.
Yeah.
So like not now. Before it used to be like you had to take a bus for an hour to go to a skate park. Now it's like I could just skate down the street. There's one here, and then I get bored here. I can go to the city over and hit another park.
Yeah, we can skate 4 different parks from where we live.
Yeah.
Go to Cherry, and go to McBride, and go to the Penny Park, and go to skate downtown. We can skate all the street stuff.
I think I was talking about one last week on the show, and I didn't know the name, but I think it's Linwood. The Linwood Park.
The original one.
I think there's a new one though, right?
The new one. You used to skate it yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
With the pump track.
With the pump tracks, yeah.
Which is better for us because, like, as we're older, our knees are all thrashed. Like, we can't go jogging and riding a bike so easy because our knees can't handle it.
And that's a workout. But you can
pump around the pump track and get a workout.
Legs be
burning. And you just stay on your board. Yeah, your legs. But once you get past that burn, like, then you're getting the cardio, you know? Okay. And it's like, dude, they should have pump tracks everywhere. Like, people should pick up skateboards that skated when they were younger or something, you know?
And just use it as
exercise. Like, that's a way better workout than jogging.
And it's fun, as long as you don't slam.
Well, I mean, you get going kind of fast, though, too. And then you're just like, that one at Linwood is really
I got to go there. I got to check it out.
But it's kind of cool because Mike Donaldson from Long Beach, he's like, we had a pool in Long Beach in the 80s that was, it was an abandoned gay bathhouse. So
Okay.
we called it the AIDS pool.
Oh wow.
But there was a bunch of crackheads that lived in the building, and it was and you park your car and you come out and your stereo will be stolen.
Oh shit.
And so it's like every time, and we had to like bolt the stereo down. We sat there with a BB gun so we could shoot crackheads and they tried to come and get our car, you know. And we'd sit on the other side of the wall from the pool. But we were skating the pool forever. And then there was a tarp over it, and one day the tarp fell down, so we ripped it down. Police helicopter came, saw us,
Oh.
and so after that they tore the whole place down.
Fuck.
But the newspaper came and took a picture of me skating the pool, you know. And then we went to Palm Springs
The nude
to
bowl?
the nude bowl.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, we got another place we skate. And then he's like, put in this whole thing, like, yeah, they're doing drug deals right here outside the skate where they're skating. Like, these kids have to come here and, you know, they want to have a skate park. And they had this whole interview with me. And I'm like, it's funny. I'm like, yeah, we have to skate pools and stuff, you know, like, but, you know, then he has a picture of me sitting in the thing after they bulldozed it. And I'm like in the empty,
the crevice of the
yeah,
pool.
where it's just like dirt now, you know. And he had a picture of me just sitting there bummed, and it was like on the Sunday paper, and it was like,
so sick.
it's like build skate parks for the skateboarders. Like the skateboarders, they have to drive 2 hours away, and it's like, how are kids gonna skate if they can't go 2 hours away? What are they gonna do? They're gonna join gangs, you know. So it's like, oh, that was the first advocate for a skate park.
That's cool.
A while later, Mike Donlin picks it up. He works with the city of Berkeley and gets the law changed for the Hazardous Use Act so people can't sue cities or sue people for skateboarding.
That's amazing.
So it's like, okay, now we're going to get skate parks. They built the skate park in Linwood. You know, first it was like the park in Davis. We used to drive to Davis, like you're saying, we used to take whole, like, crews, like 3-4 cars
Yeah.
to Davis to go skate Davis skate park for the weekend. We just chill there and camp out in the parking lot and, you know,
That's so sick.
and just be like, wow, we got a skate park we can skate. You know, and it was shittiest skate park. Like,
That's true.
but we were like,
yeah.
but we had a skate park to skate, you know?
Yeah.
And then,
Linwood?
you know, then Linwood gets built, right? And then Bell Gardens gets built.
Okay.
Then Long Beach builds El Dorado. So now there's skate park. Oh, and before even Linwood, they built Camarillo. So we're taking trips to Camarillo to skate there, you know?
That's
and then,
amazing.
you know, so it's like now all these parks get built. Berkeley's building their park, you know. Now it's like more. Now we got 11 parks in Long Beach, and we just got okayed to have 4 more.
Damn.
So we're trying to get a major park on the beach, and I want to make it like perfect, you know. I want to have like a street league type course for street, a park series bowl for bowl, then have other bowls like. And have other street obstacles, then just have a giant area of flat. You can put the stands up there and have contests. But it won't just be contests. It'll also have other things to skate.
I mean, if they can have all that space to do that, and then
Yeah.
they can actually, like you said, if they make it street league worthy, they could do contests there.
Have contests every year there. You
That's
know?
what I'm saying, and that brings in money to the city.
Yeah, Jackalopes already said they want to do it, but they're going to do it in another city next year. I think Ventura or something.
Yeah, they
But
had some stuff.
They wanted to come to Long Beach next year, but now they're going to.
Okay.
But they're going to be in our area, you know. So, you know, they're doing their contest they just did it in Virginia Beach,
Yeah.
which is another one. I skated Virginia Beach skate park when I was a kid too. I went out there to an aunt's house and I was like, I skated. It was just a vert ramp, you know. It was like a vert ramp, and you weren't allowed to skate anywhere in the city. Like,
Okay.
But you could skate the vert ramp. Like that was their thing. But their law was you couldn't be skateboarding, you couldn't ride a skateboard down the street.
Right.
Well, I also got busted one time in Oregon, in Portland. I got busted, and it was a $500 ticket
Damn.
for rolling on the street. Like, and
See
they
what I mean?
and they confiscated my skateboard. You know,
Damn.
so it's more than $500
Yeah.
it's costing you. You know, but it's just crazy, and it was like, and like just ollied like this giant 15 stairs or something, that huge set of stairs I'd never ollied before. And it's like, ollie did go across the street and cops pull you over. Like, oh shoot, you know.
Damn.
It's like the best feeling and the worst feeling.
Yeah.
You know? And it just stopped raining, so we were skating. It was like bricks because they dried up fast, and it was like, on the ticket, it's all conditions rainy and stuff. Like,
Dude, I would
traffic
frame all that
congested.
stuff. Like, do you still have that newspaper?
Yeah. My friend actually just sent it to me.
That's amazing.
He
See,
just
that's
sent
what I'm
it-
talking about.
Yeah, because he moved to
I was in the paper once. I clipped it out. Wasn't for anything good, but you know.
Hey, you gotta keep it. You know.
Yeah.
That's like
I was
memories, take it back.
and then I was too young to use my name in
Right.
the paper, so all it says is 14-year-old victim suffers minor injury in the attack. I just leave it at that. That was wild, but yeah, man, dude, that's so crazy. Dude, I mean, you must have family everywhere. I mean, you got a family in.
Well, my dad was from Portland. Right?
Okay.
My grandma's from Costa Rica. I had an aunt that lives in Virginia Beach.
And Frisco too. You said
I have
that.
some cousins that were in New York too, so I went there too.
Dang.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, I'm trying to get my son in. We're trying to get him to go to the Dam Am.
Mhm.
That's at it's in Buffalo, New York,
Okay.
and that's only 20 minutes from Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, we can go to that one and take him to see Niagara Falls. Like, that'd be
Damn.
dope. And I have the family, and we actually met him. And the son is like married to a Brazilian girl, and she's like, "Oh, you know Raisa?" And I was like, "Dang, she is celebrated in Brazil. Like, they are so
They know her.
behind their skating. It's crazy." Because I don't think like U.S. citizens, like average citizens, know who Niger is. You know,
I don't know.
but they know who Raisa is there. You know,
And the people here will know Tony Hawk maybe.
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
they
the
know Tony
most-
Hawk, right?
You know what I mean?
Tony Hawk became our spokesperson,
Right.
but but that's the whole thing. His dad was involved.
Mm-hmm.
Christian's dad was involved. His dad was involved, but Tony Hawk's dad was a dick.
Mm.
Like, people didn't really like him, you know? But he's also running the contest, and everybody's like, oh, you're going to do it. You know, everyone's going to have their opinions, you know?
Of course.
But Christian's dad, he's like smoking with us and stuff. And like, it was like,
He was
dang,
cool.
Christian's dad's cool. Like, we all wish that Christian's dad was our dad. You know, and it's like funny because now we're the cool dads.
Right.
You know, and it's
Right.
like, oh, now we're the ones taking our kids skating.
Right.
But
Well, that's amazing. Yeah, I see you everywhere, bro. Like, the first time I think I've seen you before, like at Do Tour.
yeah.
Like, you'd had all like your badges and stuff like that, you know, like
yeah.
I was like, dude, this guy gets here a lot, you know, like the first time I saw you, and then one time I got to skate with you at I forget, maybe it was Cerritos or something like that.
Mhm.
Curbs, I don't know, the big long
The red ones.
red
Yeah.
ones, right?
Yeah.
And,
With Jonas.
with Jonas,
Yeah,
right?
before he passed away.
Mhm.
Dude, that was so rad because like Taj wanted to skate this files cabinet that was on the other side of the fence. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, but I'm like,
Yeah, we got it out.
I'm like, how we can't, that's on the other side of the fence. Jonas is like, you want to skate that? I'm doing it. Let's go. Let's climb over the fence. I'm like, all right, let's go. And we like pushed it up over the fence.
Yep.
And
It
like,
was hot.
we got
It
to
was
put it
hot
back.
that
And
day.
Jonas was still like, oh, we'll throw it back over. He was still all about it. Like,
Dude, we
I
had like
right
a
on.
kicker or something. They were jumping over it, right?
kicker, yeah.
I remember, dude, it was fun, man.
Right. It was like,
Yeah.
it was just like, but
I think
it
it
was
was
rad because Jonas was
I think
like,
Serta was there that day too.
yeah, Serta was there.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I remember how many Chris was there too.
what's his name? Josh Matson.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that was a good day, man. It was hot, and the cops came, and we were
Yeah,
just
okay.
chilling. They were like, "Oh, you guys are just skating."
and they kind of just drove by and then looped and left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all a hot day. But yeah, we were just drinking beers and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was chill. And
It was a fun day, man.
it was a good. See, that's the thing. I'm like glad my son's experiencing those things growing up because
Mhm.
it's like he's out there with all these other kids that don't come from skating,
Right.
and they're just like their parents are like, "Oh, put you in contests, be like this," and it's like, no, skateboarding's a bit bigger than that, you know?
Right. Right.
And it's like he has this whole background where it's like, you.
And he's getting both worlds of it too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because he can be in the contest and be that skater, but also he's soaking up all this knowledge in this game from because you're his pops, and man,
Yeah, I
And
mean,
he
he
gets
was
to
like
go-
screen printing boards when he was 3. Stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
see what I mean?
he's been like around it for a minute. Yeah.
And I was hoping he would show up today because we were gonna have him sit in too on the couch. But man, shout out to your boy, man.
Oh yeah, he's.
Shout out Taj out there. So if you guys aren't following him yet, get on it.
Dude, no, it's crazy because through all my skate careers, as soon as I start going to bigger events, I would always see you around on like
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this dude looks familiar. And all these years now I know who you are, and it's pretty cool. And then I've seen you in like little skate videos in the background and stuff too.
Oh yeah, I'm like in all kinds of stuff. People are like, oh, I saw you here, I saw you there. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, or like I'm in the Sublime video, the Garden Grove. Okay, and this is a crazy story too because, see, I grew up with those guys. Like we went to elementary school together, junior high, high school.
Brad, or what's his name?
Brad, his brother Brett skated for his brother skated for Sure Grip.
Okay.
Or so he skated for Stedham. Like Stedham had a company through Sure Grip, and he skated for Stedham, and
that's so cool.
like his other Bud's brother too. So like I just grew up with all those guys, and Eric and I like knew each other forever. Eric used to bomb hills with combat boots. He used to bomb Signal Hill with combat boots and use the combat boots to stop. Like
because he had a soul on that thing. Yeah,
you know, like it's going just bombing down the hill. But one time, this roller skater girl and Brad were in a car behind us. We bombed this hill, and they followed us, and they clocked us. They were going 40.
Whoa!
So we were going like 45
to stay ahead of them. Yeah,
we were ahead of them. Yeah, we were going faster than them, but they're following us. And they're like, dude, we were at 40. And we're like, whoa, that means we were at 45, you know? And Eric totally bails out into like this lot, like the combat boots, like slowing down. And he's laying on the board, you know, I'm standing up on the board.
Okay.
And I'm, you know, finding my way to stop and stuff. And so in the 90s, Brad passed away. Mm-hmm. And they wanted me to be in their video, like in a Sublime video. They wanted me skating in the video.
That's so.
And the record company's like, no, you got to use our guy. Like you got to use a snowboarder that wasn't from Long Beach, you know,
right,
from Wrightwood or something. And they're just like, oh man. And then Brad passed away. They're like, oh, you still got to create 2 albums and 4 videos for us. So they did that Santeria video where they sublimated him in, mm-hmm. you know. So it's like. So they're like, oh, we're going to go back. We're just going to change our name to Long Beach Dub All-Stars. And then Eric started recording music, so he made his own label, I think Skunk Records.
Okay.
You know, so he started recording all kinds of other bands. And, but it's crazy because they wanted me to be in their video. And like 30 years later, the guy from Long Beach Sk8 comes up to me. He's like, hey, I want you guys to be in this video because the record company doesn't know anything about the culture.
Right. And
they're like, they go to the guy with the skate shop. Hey, can you get us people? And so Taj and I are in the skate video.
Sick.
And it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. You didn't want me to be in the video, but I ended up in the video anyway, you know?
That's so cool.
So people see me, like they don't recognize him from the skate video. He's just a kid, but they recognize me, you know?
Right. Yeah, because, I mean, you have the dreads. You got the big Rasta hat. You can't be missed.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so... That's so cool, dude. I mean, dude, skateboarding has been amazing to you, huh?
Yeah, completely.
Dude, that's got to be amazing, bro. I mean, just to come from that. Excuse me. And then purchased one skateboard.
That's it. Free skateboards for life.
I'm still on that, bro. But that's rad that you're still getting hooked up.
Best
and
investment,
stuff yeah. I mean, what's new? What's going on nowadays?
I got bored. It's funny because Chatty, one time I got a board that Taj gave me, and he was just laughing. He's like, "You got a board from your son? Your son hooked you up with a board?" I'm like, "Yeah, my son hooked me up with a board." He's like, dude, like, yeah, I'm not buying him a board. He's getting me a board.
Right? He's probably got a bunch of them. He's like, I want this, Dad. Here, you need.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of boards.
Yeah,
and we got a whole trunk full of them out there, you know.
Yeah.
And he's got a bunch of boards, and he's got boards that sponsors give him. His shop sponsor gives him a board. And
who's his shop sponsor?
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy?
Yeah.
Long Beach?
Yeah. Pharmacy,
is that the Boo Johnson's?
Yeah.
Dude, love Boo Johnson.
Then he skates for a Take Flight, and they give him boards. So it's like, he's got hookups. And then Grizzly gives him boards. So he's like got a few boards coming in different ways.
That's amazing. Hey. When the boards start rolling in over here, guys, we'll start handing them out too. You know,
Yeah, just saying,
just saying. Anybody out there?
Maybe a pair of shoes every couple months would be nice too.
You got a board around here probably with the where the locals skate, right?
Yeah, we got one right here in the corner over here.
Okay.
One of the guests said,
yeah,
shout out
there
to
you
my
go.
homie Ruben out in Arizona. He got it made for us through CCS.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
man, that's so rad, man.
It's a lot easier to do nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are making boards just like they make hats and hoodies, you know. Like
Because there's no limitation now, right? Before you had to have like a 50, 100 order.
like 200 orders, yeah.
Yeah, now you like a.
Well, what would happen was like you and me and you and somebody else, we'd all go in.
Right.
So you get 50, I get 50, so you could do that where you could make a 200 order, but you had to get like 4 small company guys. But now it's like anybody can just get boards.
Right.
And then on top of it, now the graphics are just
The heat transfer.
the transfer is like
Not like a screen print.
yeah. So it's like you can put anything on a board.
Yeah.
So, but you can still screen print stuff. And one guy said with the tariffs, he was getting his transfers for $100, and the tariffs $165 or 165%. So he's paying $265 for that transfer that only cost him $100 before.
Damn.
So I'm like, well, what are you going to go to silkscreen or just silkscreen a simple design in the middle, you know? I mean, back in the day, the silkscreens were made where they made it and it went down for the tail and the nose.
Mm-hmm.
So you screened all the way across it, you know? So that's the way.
Right. Yeah, because I was wondering how, like, unless you only had, like, can do, like, a square, right?
Yeah.
Because you can only flex those things so much.
That's the easiest way. But
Right.
otherwise, you had to make a custom screen. And you're doing that. You're not only just, you know, you can just make the square for anything.
I mean,
Because then you can go buy that at the art supply warehouse. You know, you can buy those screen things.
screen printing
And just
isn't as easy
put it
as it
on.
looks, easy.
No, you get all kinds of seconds. That's the greatest thing about like my skate for Alba. There would be a whole bucket or like a box of seconds, things that messed up. So they like had a bunch of shorts and they just put a bunch of Albas all over it because they messed it up. So they just like,
Yeah,
so I'd
keep
have these
practicing
shorts
on
and
it.
it'd be like Alba, 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 or
Yeah,
like shirts
yeah.
with like Alba all over the place.
Because they're like, all right, let's
With the
get this
board
right.
with the graphics off and just be like, oh, I'll take the seconds, you know.
Dude,
But I
that's
can just
amazing.
kind of go through the seconds pile and be like, oh, I'm gonna take this shirt. I'm gonna have it like a headband where it says Alba right here. So I had all this second stuff that just, you know, it's like not everything makes it to the screen printing.
All right. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to bring up before we get out of here? Because I know, we've almost gotten 2 hours.
Yeah.
Getting close. Because, I mean, you got so much to say. I mean,
I do. I have all kind of things. If you guys want to, I mean, I got.
we can always come back. You're always welcome back to do a round 2. Shoot. You know?
Right.
But do you have any questions for him, Peralta?
I don't even think so because
I mean, he answered everything on my list pretty much.
Okay.
And, like, it was amazing.
I think anything that would have came up, he answered right after with like the cool stories he was just telling me.
Yeah, I mean, I got a million of them. You know, like million skate trips, million different things. I've been there through it all, and you know.
Dude, you're just rad as fuck, dude. Like
Hell yeah.
we sat and talked for a bit when they did the Memorial Skate Park in Azusa.
Yeah.
I remember we sat there and talked for it, and that's when I kind of started getting to know you. And I was like, "Damn, you're just cool as fuck, dude."
Thanks, man. Yeah.
I was like, "Wait, I need a dad. You want to be my dad?"
Dude, I've been
Again.
like asked that so many times.
Dude, that's
I've
amazing.
had people
Yeah.
be like, "I want to be your."
Christian Asoy got that, his dad now, and now you getting that.
Well, it's like, yeah, we're the cool dads now, and it's
Yeah.
like it's funny because, dude, Christian's dad is like with him still.
Yeah.
Like you see him hanging out with him still, and it's like, dang, like he's like
Even-
always took care of his dad. When he had that mansion, we have WC Field's mansion. His dad had a spot. Like his dad had his own little quarters, you know. Like he was taking care of his dad. Like it was like, oh, you're coming with me, you know. And look at now he's still doing the artwork for him, and you know he's letting his dad have something. But even I mean, I see like his dad was hanging out with Shogo Kubo, and like he was hanging out with him, and then Shogo was kind of guiding Christian as a kid, and Christian was like a little baby Shogo, you know. Like how they talk to my son, they say, oh, he's like a baby Nija, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was like Christian was like a baby Shogo, and Shogo was the original Z-Boy, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah, you know, his dad was just cool with it, and just
That's
really,
cool.
really made it happen, you know?
Yeah.
And that's,
To be, they were smart enough to make their own brand too. To start off Hasoi skateboards and.
He did it as a sub brand under Santa Cruz.
Okay.
So it was, but he was like, we're gonna brand. It's kind of how Michael Jordan put his
name on Nike.
It's like the Jordan, rather it's not Nike.
Oh yeah, it's
Jordan.
like
it's just the Jordan. Yeah. You got the Jordans. Like it's the soy, and then he went on with Focus, and Christian's like a skater. He wasn't really a business guy, but he, people ran it for him.
Yep.
They had brand recognition, and he went all
that's
through
what
it.
If that's what you can do, man, just be the face of the brand and let everybody do the work.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Any advice for skaters out there?
I would say right now, especially for the younger guys that are coming out, it's like have fun, like really have fun. I've heard like, be professional, like that. Like, yeah, there's these people are making money off it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're making a lot of money, and like we've gone through so much, we shouldn't let them take all that from us. You know what I mean? Like we should still call shots, and we should still have a say in it. And it's like, don't let them just use you up. Like,
that's true.
Like you're making money for these brands,
mm-hmm.
and it's like you gotta be professional, and you gotta be on. Like I was saying, like they don't let people come to the warehouse anymore, And then look at all these brands are getting bought out by these corporations and stuff, and it's like they're just like Element or what just got bought, Blind,
Soltech.
Soltech. Well, Soltech is still semi-owned because it only a section of it got bought.
Okay.
But they're basically gonna, they're taking these brands and they're gonna put them in Walmart and stuff.
Right.
And it's like it's gonna sell on brand recognition. Like Airwalk is still selling.
Right.
Like
Payless.
If you didn't skate Airwalks in the '80s, you don't know it was a full skate brand. Yeah. But Payless, right?
I think so.
So it's like they're putting these brands. Like you'll find the Etnies in like Ross or something. You'll find them in different places, but it'll be brand recognition. But it won't have like Jocelyn.
Right.
Like you're not gonna have that team that it was in the past.
It's like an aftermarket shoe.
I mean, I don't know exactly what all these companies, but that's what I'm seeing.
Right.
It's like the boards are kind of in Walmart. Like the boards. And it's kind of cool that kids can buy a board for cheap that actually functions.
Right, that's true.
Like it doesn't just stop when you try to roll it.
Like my swap meet board.
At least it's a little bit better.
Right, and I think because like for a parent, you don't want to spend $100 and something on a kid that's maybe never going to use it, but once.
They try it once and then they don't. They fall.
Yeah, it's in the garage.
They come back and they go play with the basketball
or their video games again. But
oh man, the video games.
So get them the cheap one, and then all of a sudden you see them take to it, and you're like, all right, let's go get you a good one. Let them go pick it out too at the skate shop. Yeah,
and that's one thing. It's like there's just the brand recognition. Oh, I rode Elements when I was younger. Here's the Element board. So they are, it's like the corporations see it, like they see value in it, so we should see value in it. You know what I mean? Like we should take what we're doing seriously because there is a lot going on there, and there's a lot of value. And like I said with the Sublime thing, they came to the skate shop because they needed Long Beach culture because they're just businessmen in suits. Like they don't know what's going on.
I know. Yeah.
So it's like we are the liaisons,
Right.
So we have to. I say, well, no, you need to give us this. You
have to speak your mind and know what and know your work too.
I mean, part of our culture is giving it away. Like, hey, we're gonna teach the kids how to skate. We're gonna get you a board. We're gonna hook you up. Like, that's part of our culture, and we should do that.
Right.
But we get too much to giving it away to the people that are making money off of us. That's the people that we really need to.
Right.
That's one that we really need to charge,
That's true.
And it's like skateboarding is more than just a sport. It's a culture, It's a lifestyle, Right? We say it at the same time,
Yep.
It's a lifestyle, and it's like regardless, put in the Olympics, do all this stuff, it's still gonna be that, And it's like the kids, they're not as connected, but they get connected, you know, because skating, once they really get in there, they're gonna see, you know, like Burnett, like Mike Burnett took a picture of my son at this one thing, and the picture, like he came, he like turned around, clicked it, the picture was perfect, like it could be a cover photo, you know. It's like that's experience, you know. And it's like
sometimes you just capture the right moment, though, you know. Like I think like you could chalk it up to experience too, but like there's sometimes that there was, you know, you could try all the time you want to try to find something, but then sometimes you just that one click,
that candid shot of someone just hanging out.
Magic.
Yeah,
you're like, okay.
And I think it's just like, you know, these kids are gonna go on tours with these guys, and then they start to learn about the culture, you know. And it's like, especially the vert skaters, like. Street skaters can still make a living. Look at Tyshawn, highest paid skateboarder. He doesn't skate contests.
Right.
Like he
is that the one that was on Supreme?
Yeah.
I think. Isn't he getting sued too?
No, he's
suing them.
Oh, he's suing them
for like $26 million or something like that.
Right. That's the other way
around. But that's what I mean. Like he's taking his value. Like he's like, and he's not even skating contests. Like you don't have to skate contests to make money in skating.
That's true.
And he's taking care of his guys. Like he's not just like, oh, I just want this for myself. Like he's also hooking these other guys up too. So
that's the best way to do it, man.
There's value there, and it's like, you know, you can still do that. But for the vert skaters, they're not really dependent on video parts. Like they're dependent on contests to make themselves money. So they've got to skate all these contests, and they got to do all this stuff, and the contests are getting more serious. There's contests going on constantly. Like there's a World Cup, and there's like, you know, they're going on around the world. Like before, it was like the summer was the contest season. I mean, when I was skating council, it was like there was one street contest a year. So it was like, oh, that's the contest I'm skating. You know, like you didn't have all these options.
Right, like so the Florida one. What's it? Tampa Am.
Tampa
Pro.
Yeah.
Tampa Pro.
Tampa was the first one. Like we went on tour. That tour I went on, we went to Tampa, and it was just a vert ramp. Like in a smaller. It was another warehouse before they're at where they're at now, and then they moved to that one. But the guys lived in the warehouse, and they had a vert ramp, and it was like crazy because we went to go skate like different spots for like just random ramps, random vert ramp in the middle of a field somewhere, and that was the skate park, you know. And it's just so like cool. They were doing it. It's just like we needed to figure out a way past the insurance, and once that hazardous use law passed, okay, we can skate now without people suing. And people still try to say it, like we're skating somewhere. Oh, you guys gonna get sue us for? Sorry, dude, you can't do that anymore. Yeah. Like, sorry, no. Like, oh, but you don't know it. No. And I cite things like, no, hazardous use law, this and that. Like, I cite them to them. They're like, oh, but the business doesn't want people to skate. I'm like,
oh, that's different.
Like, you don't want to get fired, right? Okay. Yeah. Like, how about this? You go walk inside. We'll walk away, and we'll come back. Come back in 15 minutes. Kick us out again. You just go do your thing, do your rounds, and come back in a little while. You know, like. Taj, we skated a rail, and I was
just
like,
trying to get that trick real quick.
Yeah, it was like had Taj skating this rail, and it's just like security came up right away, like he's about to do it. Oh, dude, come on, we drove like 2 hours here, like, you know, like he just wants to do this, and then we're gone. Security left, came back. He did, you know, we landed it before he came back, so you know, got the clip and got out of there. And it was like, if you're cool with people, they'll be cool with you, you know?
Yeah.
You just can't be... Yeah. And you gotta, like... And I get it. Back in the day, it was like... We were so villainized as skaters, you know? Yeah. Like, we kind of...
Anti.
Yeah, we were anti-establishment. That's and it was just like... Anybody stepped up, we were hostile. It was just like, you know... And, you know, so you couldn't really get skaters to be completely, like... Cool. But it's like, if you just treat people cool... There'll be a way to figure it out. You just gotta treat them with respect, and you know. Yeah. And they're people, you know. They don't own the company. Like
that's true. That's why sometimes they get too much of a, you know, and they're not even the owner of the building. I get it. You got to do your job, but.
Well, and there's so many more skaters now. Like 1 million people are trying to skate this spot, so they dealt with a bunch of people yelling at them,
and they probably think it's the same people coming back. You know what I mean? They're like, "Didn't I just kick you out?" You're like, No, I just got
Yeah,
it.
that one. Like, no,
Somebody
What
else
are you
was
talking
skating
about?
it. Do you know who it was? Was it a pro?
What'd they do?
Yeah, did you get a photo of him? Can I see it?
yeah, what were they trying?
Are we doing the same
Yeah.
trick or? Are they
Yeah,
trying something
exactly. Can I get some info? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, back then too, like everything we were doing was MBDs. Like, it was always like, oh, what can I do that no one's done? But okay, I'll tell you one thing. Okay. So in the 80s, I used to skate with Ed Templeton, Jason Lee.
Oh, sick.
The one time I met Ed, and he's like, yeah, I've been working on heel flip indie grabs and ollie impossibles. And he shows me his heel flip indie grab. Like, he's like, high off the ground, grabbing off flat,
Off flat.
And then he's doing ollie impossibles. It's like, oh, that's the freestyler's trick,
Yeah.
We meet up with Jason. Jason's like, yeah, I've been working on this trick. And he's like, doing a tray flip.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries one, the board throws out. He does it again, lands it, toe drag, but he does another one a little bit better. And he's like, I was like, no way. And they're like, oh, what have you been working on? I'm like, oh, I've been working on double flips. And so I do a double flip, and all of us had our own tricks, but we were all amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like we were the next generation of street skating coming up. And in that moment, it was like, whoa, we're all doing tricks that these pros aren't doing. And it was like,
That's true.
it was like a foreshadowing of what was coming,
That's so crazy. Yeah, I was wondering, like, because the impossible, that was already a freestyle trick, and then they
Yeah,
took it to the street.
Yeah, well, they would stop on their tail, grab the nose, and flip it around their foot. Then Rodney Mullen actually did it as an ollie. And Rodney Mullen actually did the tray flip too. But it was like he had so many tricks people weren't really thinking about, It's like, but he did the kick flip.
Yes.
And then Mark Gonzalez did it on a full 10-inch board because the boards were like 10 inches back then.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at a contest. He's like, check this out. And he skates at me and he does a kick flip. We're at a castle contest. He does a kick flip. And I'm like, no way. Like, you're doing the freestyle trick on the board, And the next day, I think I learned it like right away.
You're like, I could do that. Once you see it,
well, the whole thing was I probably went home. Like, it was in my mind. It was stuck. It was, like we're talking about Jeremy Ray. It's like, It was stuck in my mind. It was like, I got to do this. You're either going to go crazy or you're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So the next day, like, I think school was out and I went straight to Belmont benches. And I think I learned it like right away.
Damn.
And it's like,
Belmont benches, 1989.
and it's like thinking about it then, it's like we were the amateurs and we were doing stuff the pros weren't doing.
Yeah.
And it's the same way now. These amateurs are doing stuff the pros aren't doing, but they don't have the experience.
That's true.
And they don't have the...
Sometimes the power too. Like, like...
Yeah.
You'll start seeing like you'll see the tray flip and then all of a sudden they'll get like bigger and taller and then all of a sudden that tray flip is just like, it's on point now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's like you get that pro feet. Mm-hmm. Like if you see when pros have like pro feet, like their footing is just sure footed.
Yeah.
The amateurs, they got the tricks, but they don't have them down that much. They don't have the experience yet.
Mm-hmm.
And the pros are looking at the amateurs. This like back in the day, the Embarcadero days. Amateur be busting out tricks and learning, like doing these real technical ledge tricks or something. A pro would show up, they'd stop skating and leave. Because the pro's going to say, oh, I can do that trick. And they're going to work it out. And then the pro's going to get the credit for the trick before you. Because
it'll come out on a video and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, especially they've got sponsors and all that. So.
Yeah.
But it's still going on. Like, I still see guys, like one dude was skating at the Rose Gardens. We were there one day. He's doing this trick. I'm not going to say the names, but, he's doing a trick. Another pro shows up.
Uh-huh.
And they were filming it. He didn't get the trick, but he stops filming. As soon as the pro shows up, he just sat down. And I'm like, well, this is still going on. Like, this is still, since the 90s, like, this is still going on.
That's true, huh? They don't want to show it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the only thing that's stayed the same right there. All right. Well, let's get you a crazy question before we get out of here.
Crazy question?
Yeah. Let's see what we get here. Let's see if it works out, because you had such a career already in skateboarding.
All right.
What's that one say here?
All right. If you could have any skateboard
Ooh,
in your collection,
If you one that you ridden or maybe just wanted.
Skated or wanted?
Yeah.
If I could have any skateboard.
Yeah, I think you already got the Alva one.
Well, I want to get an old Alva. Actually, Tony told me he's going to give me one, but I want to get the original. I'd love to have an original 70s.
I thought the one you took from the bathroom was a...
No, it was a Sure Grip.
Oh, Sure Grip. Okay.
Sure Grip with Sure Grip chucks and Sure Grip wheels. I'll show you in a minute. But, yeah, I got that board, and then the Alva was the one I cut out. So I need to get a blank without the kick on the nose, and then I need to recut that out. And I made a stencil that said Alva, so I spray painted on black with the Alva. And I see the boards all over, so I could find the board again, the fishtail board, and copy it, which was a precursor to the Hosoi board. Because Hosoi skate for Alva, then he left and did Hosoi skates through Santa Cruz.
So that's what you picked was the Alva?
Yeah, I'd get the Alva board, like the one that my mom had, right?
Yeah.
I'd get that one. I'd get one of the actual 70s boards. And I have a few 70s boards. I got a Sims board. My homie actually has a bunch of them. If you guys want one, I can hook it up.
Okay.
And then I've got a Hang 10 board. And I actually took a broken, like a longboard, the tail broke. And I took the longboard and I put the Hang 10 board over it and I cut it out with the same shape as the Hang 10. And I put some trucks on, these small Kryptonics trucks with wheels. And I brought them in so it had a nose and a tail. So my son could learn to push when he was like 3 years old. Okay. So he could, because he didn't have a wide board. So it forced him to kind of learn. Yeah, I think he even learned kickflips first on that board. So it's like, and then I've got like, I got some random boards too. I got some old 70s boards. And I've got the original tracker trucks. Stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, imagine, like, I wish I would have known to, like, save all my stuff. We were focusing boards here left and right. Got a phone call coming in.
Hold on, I'll call him back. But yeah. Yeah, I wish, because I mean, like, my son he's saving everything. Oh, first kickflip board, first Phoenix amp.
Okay.
First, he's got like his first board, the whole board. I got like the trucks, the wheels, because he changed trucks. Because Ace gave him trucks when he was small, and they gave him the low trucks, like 2002s, which like, for like a 7.5-inch board. And they gave him low trucks, and then he got older, he went to the high trucks and stuff. So he's got like all these boards where it's like, oh, I've got this board. Oh, first board I broke. Like just crazy. I'm just like, dude, okay, you got a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you're gonna want to see these things.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But I'm like, I need to.
I didn't know I was gonna want that stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like I had some boards. Like I had my old Alva boards, and I had like this Mark Gonzalez board I had, and I'm just like, because I got a bunch of boards from Vision, I'm like, and I did this thing where, okay, because we're doing ollies early without nose on the board, right? So I would take strips of grip tape and put them like this on my board, like strips, and then put grip tape over it so it had little bumps. So it would catch my foot as I was ollieing, so I could ollie higher.
Yeah,
I'll do all these crazy things with the grip. It's funny because there's a company now that makes strip.
I've seen that
to give you extra concave, and I'm like, that's exactly what I did with the grip tape here, but to catch my foot to do ollies.
I've seen that for the old school boards, and they're like little plastic things you put under your sheet of grip that like you're able to flick it. You're like,
because the old school boards don't have. They're like making them flat. Well, I was telling you I was talking to one of the guys that rides the PAL boards. Can't think of his name. He rides the old school boards.
Is it Garcia Vids or? Yeah.
He was. I was talking to him yesterday, and he was riding. What's his name? That he made the new school board.
Oh yeah, Chris.
Chris Hyatt. Yeah.
Hyatt.
He was riding one of his boards.
Chris Hyatt.
Right. He was riding one of his boards, and he's like, "Well, this is weird because it's got concave in a nose." He's I'm used to riding the flat boards now, and I'm like, and it's cool because he's riding a Steve Sides board, and like my elder Cameron was the first Native American pro skater, and Steve Sides, like he's Comanche,
Yeah.
and Steve Sides is also Comanche.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, I didn't even know they were, like, they didn't know. Like, I told both of them. They were like, what? Like, yeah, you guys are both Comanche.
That's so sick. He was just drawn to it.
And you guys are both, like, skate history.
That's sick.
That's so sick. Dude, Brian. Dude, like I said, we're going to have you come back.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, I'll bring Taj. And you can,
definitely. Yeah. We'll have him. If he's down to come on do the show, too, we'll down. And then, like you said, like, Listo's not here today, so we can have you sit in as the couch boy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Do you have any shout-outs for today?
Oh, man. Shout out to everybody. Shoot. I have such a long list. I actually have, like, a list that's, like, around 100 sponsors I've had through the years, because I had so many different sponsors, and I was like, I'm going to put them all on the list. Dave Duncan was my first sponsor. Joe Bowers. Rick Blackheart, Joey Trichet, Jose Cerda, Stephen Williams, Shrugi. And so I'm sorry, there's so many people.
There's so many.
Some of you like, why did you mention me? You know.
Hey, just shout out to all of them for helping you.
Yeah, everybody who's helped me out. Everyone who's kept me skating. Everyone who really hooked me up in one way or another. Yeah, it's just like, there's so many people. I'm like, I'll probably keep talking about it.
Yeah, but you had such a lustrous career, man. I mean, skateboarding. Thank you, skateboarding, man. Because
yeah, completely. Thank you, skateboarding.
I mean, I didn't hear you say you had a regular job at all. Like, so, you know. But dude, that's so amazing. And shout out to everybody that sponsored you and hooked you up, and everybody that says hello to you too, man. I know you're everywhere. So
yeah.
It's always cool.
Okay, I've also had like a million. Dude, I've had like so many shoe sponsors.
Okay.
I
didn't even get into shoes.
I actually skated for Converse in the 90s before anybody was skating for Converse. And they were rad. Like, of all my shoe sponsors I had skate shoe companies.
Uh-huh.
But Converse was like, they weren't a skate shoe company, but they really hooked it up. Like, sent me places and stuff. And I was like, my friend, he was just like, he kind of got in the industry. He's like, I'm going to be your agent. I was like, getting me all these different sponsors and give me like tiki necklace and sponsors.
Hell
just random sponsors.
Anything that I want. Yeah.
I remember like I had like 3 clothing companies at one time, you know? And it's just like.
Well, shout out to that guy.
yeah, he hooked me up. Doug Boyce, yeah. Product, DJ Product. He's with Head, the band Head.
All right.
But yeah, man, a lot going on, man.
Well, thank you very much for what you've done for skateboarding.
Oh,
as
and
well.
also, I don't know if you saw, like, when I turned 50, I was like, I'm gonna hit a street rail, you know.
Oh shit!
So I was like the first 50-year-old to hit a street rail. Yeah. You know, I think maybe some other 50-year-olds hit rails. Like Sheffy just did that switch.
Oh yeah.
Switch front of people, but that's a skate park.
Skate park, yeah.
But but I think there's other. I don't know of anyone else over 50. Like I'm 55 now. And, like, I hit a street rail the other day. Like, so I'm like, it was little, but it's in the streets, you know? So it counts, you
Take
know?
me to it. I want to try it if it's doable.
If you're regular.
I'm regular?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, okay. Yeah, me too.
All right.
But, yeah, so it's like, you know, I'm going to keep skating. I'm going to keep pushing myself. Like, I take my son more. I've been more focused on him, but I still, like,
cool.
Try to get I just did 55 tricks for my 55th birthday. Like, I was like, I'm going to skate until I'd done 55 tricks. And I skate for like an hour solid, just not stopping.
Wow. So I would have done that in a week. I would have taken, you know what I mean? Like, damn.
But
dude, shout out to that, man. And, dude, that's amazing. And it just goes to show how, like, we can just keep it going and going, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely
till the wheels fall off.
What Jay Adams says about you didn't quit skating because you got old. You got old because you quit skating.
That's right.
You know, and you got to have, like, you know, and also it grounds you to who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, it's a culture, it's a lifestyle thing. So as long as you're living, I'm going to be connected one way or another with skateboarding, you know? So.
That's amazing, dude.
I mean, we'd like to start our own company or something. Not necessarily skateboards, but something.
That'd be cool. Yeah, let us know, man. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Peralta, shout outs?
Yeah. Shout out to all our viewers. We can't do this podcast wouldn't be what it is without you guys. Then supporting all the locals that come in here and tell their story, which is like, it takes a lot of courage because some guys get camera shy. But yeah, thank you everybody watching. I appreciate you guys, and we're gonna keep doing this. And go support my photography page if you want to see. I've been shooting a lot of the guys that come on the show lately. So it's called Peralta Visuals on Instagram or Zombie Wolf Visuals on TikTok.
Yeah. All right. And again, Brian, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that. We definitely got to get out there and skate soon. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching the show. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out there. Share the show out. Tell a friend. If you or you know somebody that wants to be on the show, let us know in the DMs. You can hit us up at We're the Locals Sk8 on Instagram, or you can hit me up, OG_Skate Show. And this is kind of a surprise for everybody, though. By the time you might see it on Instagram, but we're not sure yet. But uh-oh.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Looks
like we got some.
To the back.
Look at this.
Merch.
I also told a lot of people about your podcast. So I'm like, this. And a lot of people were like, I didn't know about this. And a lot of people were interested. So there's been a few people following you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
That didn't know about it. I'm going to tell more people and share the link. I'm on
Thank you, bro.
Page and everything. Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, and hopefully by the time this, hopefully these shirts will be on sale by the time this drops. I'm working on the big cartel, trying to get it to link up with my thing so we can actually start selling online. But if you see us out and we haven't gotten on the line yet, hit us up. We'll get you a shirt. We'll sell them to you.
You can even hit me up and we'll set something up and I'll pull up and deliver the shirt myself.
There you go. All right,
yeah,
so
man, get them out there.
That's right. And if you see us, like I said, if you see us out there, hit us up and tell us about the show, man. If you want to be on it, like I said, we'll get you in as soon as we can. Again, thank you everybody out there for tuning in. Till next week. Peace out.